the heck's birthdays I've had? I haven't had a good birthday in 5 years, man. Thank you. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, or however you may be viewing, for those subscribing on YouTube. It's the Ralph Bailey Show, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at KERNradio.com. Want to thank Kathy Abernathy, Teresa Goldner, Cassie Biddle, local restaurateur and overall good egg, Romeo Agbalag, the special counsel to Stephen Bloomberg, the chancellor of the Kern Community College District, and Mr. Rick Bentley for filling in last week. Everyone I heard did extremely well. I heard a couple of the shows. Just want to thank everybody for filling in. Thank you guys for being kind to our guest host. We got a busy Monday as we hit the dog days of summer. Donald Trump took the air out of the room in the press room in the White House today, talking about the Friday meeting with Vladimir Putin and putting in 800 National Guard troops in D.C. We'll unpack that for you. It's a Monday. Dr. Jeet Singh will join us at the bottom of the hour. Kathy Abernathy at 4 o'clock. And coming up in the 5, we're going to meet Dr. Stacy Pfluger. She is the interim president at Bakersfield College. And we got a bunch of sports stuff to talk about. I was able to get down to a Dodger game on Wednesday afternoon, a day game. You know, I give Big Dog Mike Parent crap because he refuses to do day games. I'm like, come on, man. Well, my boy Chet calls me Wednesday morning. Wednesday morning, he calls me. And he says, happy birthday, boy, 6 a.m. I said, Chet, my birthday was Sunday, bruh, but I love you for thinking about it, brother. He says, well, I'm going to be in front of your house at 9:30. I go, Chet, what? What are we doing? Going to Dodger game, boy. I said, Chet, the game doesn't start till 7:10. No, it doesn't. It starts at 1 o'clock. I'll be at your house at 9:30. Shows up at 10:45. Shows up at 10:45. So we didn't get to see the first 2 innings. And of course, it was Shohei Day. They were giving away some cockamamie Shohei Ohtani ring. And of course, we were not one of the first 40,000 when you show up in the bottom of the second. But a great time was had by all. But we were on the first base side. It wasn't with Big Dog, wasn't behind the home plate. Although I was watching behind home plate, and they were in the sun all day as well. But along first baseline, it doesn't matter what time of the day it is. You're in the sun all day. And what do you think the temp was in LA on Wednesday, Mr. Burdick? No, yeah, 92 degrees. Just my luck. I go visit LA and it's in the 90s, which in LA is unprecedented. But had an uncharacteristically nice birthday. As you all know, or some of you know, my birthdays tend to be a little bit infamous, or what's the word I'm looking for? Disastrous. There was the classic 50th birthday where Chris Zucchini and Mike Arier took me to Mammoth and I got elevation sickness. There was the infamous 5 years ago breaking of the jaw at Casey's Steakhouse when I got sucker punched twice in the face 3 days before my birthday. And it's been, I think it was. It's either 4 or 5. It came up on my, because you know, on your anniversary, things will pop up, and the video is still out there if you've never seen it. I don't know why I directed you to it, but it's still out there. If you Google me, it's still popped up. There was the infamous breakup with an ex who shall remain nameless, Carla Collins, who I had lunch with over my vacation. 3 of my ex-girlfriends contacted me on my birthday. That's not bad. It's not, and like I said, I had lunch with one of them. It's not bad. And then say something nice of me that I'm still in contact with 3 women that really don't ever want to see me again in life. Yeah, but I'm not seeing anybody. It's not like I have somewhat or working on girlfriend and I'm going out with exes. You had somebody on the hook. And is that still over? Visalia is not? Wow. Well, good. Dude, if she's going to dump you because you contacted an ex, yeah, that's right. Whoop, whoop. Red alert. Run, run, run. But I'll talk more about my vacation later when we have time. And we got some sports news. Did you hear Dave Roberts criticize Shohei Ohtani? I was like, say what? And believe it or not, Roberts was absolutely right. Did you see the game yesterday where Shohei got thrown out at third on a stupid base running play with Freddie Prince, with Fred Lynn. Ooh, nice. Freddie Couples. Ooh, nice. Anyway, Freddie Freeman is on up at the plate, and Shohei's in scoring position, and he tries to steal third and gets thrown out. Like, really? Like, if Conforto is up, you should definitely steal. Mr. 190, who's now getting pushed out. You see, Call is now playing a lot. The new left fielder that we got during the trading deadline. But the issue is we did nothing. And Bill Plaschke, the columnist for the LA Times, did a column on this today. Our bullpen sucks. I've never seen, was it yesterday or the day before, where Blake Trinan gave up 2 home runs, and then Vesey came in and gave up another home run. We lost 6-5. I've never seen that before. This bullpen sucks. And it's too bad because Blake Snell is getting healthy. He looked great. And we blew a game that we should have won. So Tyler Glasnow, who went out winning 3-2, doesn't get the win. So we'll talk about that. The U.S. Women Amateur was this weekend. Mega Gagne won. Pretty exciting stuff, actually. 125th U.S. Amateur. The men's amateur is coming up this weekend. And I always think of Tiger Woods when I think of the U.S. Men's Amateur. Why is that, Mr. Burdick? He won 3 straight junior amateurs. He won 3 straight U.S. amateurs. That ain't never going to happen in life. We'll blow this place up before somebody wins 3 juniors at 13, 14, 15, and then wins 3 U.S. amateurs at 16, 17, and 18, and then goes to Stanford for a couple of years, and then goes to the PGA and becomes a legend. Nobody's going to do that. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But we lead off with the president and the Friday meeting with Vladimir Putin. This is happening in Alaska, which is a big tip of the hat to Trump. I thought for sure it would have, at minimum, been at a third location. There was no way Trump was going to go to Russia. It was going to go to Moscow or St. Petersburg or Leningrad or something. That wasn't going to happen. I thought they'd meet at like Reykjavik in Iceland or maybe somewhere in Switzerland, Geneva, or Zurich, something like that. But they're coming to America. And as we now know, thanks to Sarah Palin, Russia is not very far from Alaska. I'm not sure if you can see it from your front yard, as Ms. Palin suggested, but nevertheless, this is a big deal. And the thing I liked about the news conference today is the president was blunt and honest in saying this is a feel-out meeting. Don't be expecting some big accord to come out of this, some big signing, some big peace treaty. That's not going to happen. This is just me trying to feel out where he is, and then we'll sit down with Zelensky. I don't think Putin's ever going to sit down with Zelensky. I don't think, because I truly believe that Putin, I just don't see Putin giving up. I just don't. And the president made allusions to, for the first time, the fact that there has to be what he called land changing hands. And as most of you know, Zelensky has said that ain't never going to happen. Never, ever, 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 ever going to happen. And how they expect to take back the 20% of the country that the Russians already occupy is anybody's guess. Here is our first. Well, I don't know. I should have listened to him. What's the first? What's the first one you got?
I'm actually working on that first one still. I found it right now, but you're going to get it the second one, though, is there.
And that is about the troops. Okay. We'll get to that after the break. In fact, let's go ahead and take a break. And we come back, we'll get into Liberation Day, according to the president. He is bringing in some 800 National Guardsmen into the District of Columbia. And the liberal media is tripping all over itself, trying to fight Trump because it's Trump. And saying, well, crime rate is down in DC. All the stats show it. Really? Stats mean crap. And these stats are based off of numbers that were out the roof, off the chart. So basically they're saying, hey, Junior's not failing. He's just getting D's. Stop worrying. Everything's fine. He's just getting straight D's. Everything's great. Because the average resident of the District of Columbia will tell you DC ain't safe. That's the bottom line. And you know when people start to get serious about crime? When it starts popping up in areas that it's not supposed to be. Everybody's got crime. Look at our murder rate. Are you kidding? Everybody's got crime. But as long as it stays in the areas that we expect it to stay in, everybody's okay. But once it starts to hit the affluent and areas that it's not supposed to be, and in DC, of course, that means tourism. And that can't happen. We'll talk about that next. Then, as I mentioned, Dr. Jeet Singh at the bottom of the hour. Kathy Abernathy will be here. And in the 5, we'll meet the new interim president of Bakersfield College. You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com. Do you want this tight? I'll move it back. The what? All right.
Presidential primary, because last time she ran and won was 5 years ago, and she lost. Last year she didn't have to win, and she was anointed. Good luck, Kamala. The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Guess where I went to dinner on my birthday? That's right. The boys took me to KC Steakhouse. And there was no concern of a repeat of 4 years ago. I was with 6'5", 275 former left tackle for the New York Giants, Mike Arieh. So we weren't concerned with that and had a wonderful meal. And we had and hung out at the Stockyard next door. And again, as I've talked about, it amazes me how many of you aren't even aware that the Stockyard is open and available on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturday nights. They provide live music. They have a banquet hall where you can have events, meetings, fundraisers, etc. And as we did, have dinner and cocktails. Try one of their craft cocktails right next door. It's a speakeasy type setup, and it's an absolute game changer for Cassie Biddle and KC Steakhouse. Again, KC Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
Okay, I got the button.
Thanks.
And then.
Yeah, I think you go even a little further back. Yeah. There you go, right there.
5 o'clock's coming in?
Yes. About the bites?
No. At first, yes, but I found it. It's not that big of a deal. But there was something else that I was going to ask you, but I can't remember what it was. I remember it.
Please meet Paul Sheldon's client, Marilyn Bull.
Hi, my name is Marilyn Bull. Paul Sheldon's husband. So when I retired, I decided I'm going to go to him too, and I'm very pleased. The experience with Paul Sheldon has been great. Every question we had him before, he was patient and explained everything where you can understand it. So I'm glad I got him to go to, because otherwise I would recommend Paul Sheldon to anybody, because it is so much easier to go there and have someone actually show you and explain to you what your options are. And when you leave there, if you still didn't quite understand, you can always call and even make an appointment with you and rediscuss the whole thing. I also have recommended it to my sister. Thank you, Paul Sheldon, for all your help, and I wouldn't know what to do without you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298. The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Baby, ain't that peculiar? The funniest event of the weekend, by far, not even close. Baseball celebrating Jen Powell and becoming the first woman to umpire a Major League Baseball game. Okay? They bring her in, and what the hell's going on? Did Chris just get arrested or something? I have no producer. And it was taken away by our general manager and our program director. Okay, I guess I just hope he gets back before the break ends. Do you know what you're doing, son? I have no idea who you are. Do you know how to work the mic? I'm assuming you're training. Yeah, that's what I assume. What's your name? Dawson. Nice to meet you, Dawson. What the hell just happened? I thought you got arrested. I thought the cops were here. I was like, Chris, come with us. I'm in the middle of the show. Yeah, come with us. Good. So they celebrate this new woman, first woman in Major League Baseball. And she had to do third base, and she was okay. And then over the weekend, Saturday, or maybe it was yesterday, I think it was Saturday, she had to do home plate. First pitch of the game. And I mean, she misses it by half a foot, like literally half a foot. And now this whole square robotic thing is up on its feet. And they're talking about as early as next season, beginning this thing, keeping the home plate umpire, because the first thing was they were just going to use the appeal thing. But now the commissioner is talking about, you know what? Why don't we just go to the box? You got to keep the umpire there, I suppose, for check swings and foul tips and plays at the plate. But I just thought that was hilarious. She missed about 3 or 4 calls. She rung up a guy. And I mean, that ball was like 6 inches off the plate. I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. But she's no worse than the rest of these idiots. I mean, Dr. Jeet Singh could be a cat. Hey, Ralph, I have something to do in hospital, so let's catch up next Monday. Oh, we just got canceled. Let me just tell him I totally understand. Totally understand. But I thought that was hilarious. But again, you're right. It's not, for some reason, umpires in the 21st century have a problem with inside and outside. And I think it's because what happens is, here's home plate. All right. That's right down the middle. And the catcher sets up outside away from the plate. But if the pitcher hits the glove and he doesn't have to move it, the umpire assumes, well, he hit the spot, got to be a strike. Yeah, but he set up 6 inches off the plate. And that's not just females, but I still thought it was funny. And I don't know why they do that. And they get away with that. Like, if you have to snatch it, that means it was outside. Apparently. And I can't remember, I mean, I did Little League, so I don't think they were sophisticated in snatching balls back, but I just thought it was ridiculous and funny that she blew it. Let's begin with the president. He had a huge press conference. He had just about the entire cabinet, and it was one of the most attended press conferences in the press room. Let's just, I'll comment because I haven't heard any of these. I'll comment afterwards. Here's Donald Trump.
So I'm going in to speak to Vladimir, and I'm going to be telling him, you got to end this war. You got to end it. And he wasn't going to mess with me. This war would have never happened. You know, we had a discussion about it one time, and we never had that discussion again. Would have never happened. And when the election was rigged, and then Biden took office, which was barely took office, the Otto Pen took office, bad things started happening. Bad things, stupid things were said. And it ended up in a war. And you know, and I don't believe this will happen anymore because I have that pretty well covered. This could end up in a third world war. This could have been a third world war. I don't think that's going to happen now. But I thought it was very respectful that the president of Russia is coming to our country as opposed to us going to his country or even a third party place.
That's what I said. I'm shocked that Putin is coming to America. It is, the liberals are saying this is a gift to Putin. I'm not so certain about that. I guess on a certain level, I get that. The man's a war criminal as far as I'm concerned. I think that they're absolutely targeting residential areas on purpose. I think they absolutely targeted that maternity hospital. So I suppose if the president of the United States, the leader of the free world, is meeting with a war criminal, it is kind of a gift to him. But what other choice does he have? At least, I mean, again, as I've said, since he's been elected, we're closer to peace in Ukraine now than we've ever been because Uncle Fluffy, Weekend at Bernie's, did absolutely nothing other than drag his feet on getting equipment and military necessities to the Ukrainians. And we walked you through that whole period where I said, you know, they want this, but he's saying no, but they will soon. And it finally came down to them allowing the Ukrainians to attack Russia. Do you remember that the Biden administration did not allow the Ukrainians to use any of our military tools or weapons to actually attack Russia on their soil? It's ridiculous. There are no rules in war. What are you talking about? In terms of using somebody's military power? Are you kidding me? Here is a second bite from Donald Trump.
So this is really a feel-out meeting a little bit. And President Putin invited me to get involved. He wants to get involved. I believe he wants to get it over with. Now, I've said that a few times. And I've been disappointed because I have like a great call with him, and then missiles would be lobbed into Kiev or some other place, and you'd have 60 people laying on a road dying. I said, that's cold, but it's a violent war.
This is huge of the president to concede, yeah, I got taken a little bit. I believe this guy was going to ratchet this thing down and we'd get off the phone, and the next day he's lobbing bombs on maternity hospitals. And to concede that it's just a feel-out deal, there's no accord that's going to emerge from this thing. It's just step one, is a tremendous concession. Dr. Jeet Singh can't be with us. He'll join us next week, but we'll come back and talk about the 800 National Guardsmen in our nation's capital. The Ralph Bailey Show is back right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. The Ridge Bar fire, which started a little after 5:30 Saturday evening, has been about 25% contained, but so far it has burned over 120 acres and forced the closure of Highway 178. The highway is closed at the mouth of the canyon in Bakersfield through Democrat Springs. The cause of the fire is being investigated. And a Kern County firefighter was badly hurt while working the canyon fire. His pickup truck rolled nearly 200 feet over a ridge and down a steep hill in Castaic. The accident happened a little before 6:30 Friday evening. According to the Kern County Fire Department, Battalion Chief James Agee was airlifted to Henry Mayo Medical Center in Valencia as a trauma alert. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Hey everybody, it's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Adaptive Network. You know, it's funny or coincidental that I'm talking to you about Adaptive Network because they literally just left our studios. That's right. We teamed up with Adaptive Network because they are the best in town when it comes to IT. And, you know, the biggest mistake companies make with their IT is not having a plan. Like I talked about, as a radio station, IT goes down, you hear nothing. You can't just wait and say, oh, well, we'll call our IT guy the very next day. We got to have a plan. Disaster recovery, security policy. All often get ignored. And we also talk about antivirus. Today, cyber threats need layered security, firewalls, endpoint protection, and monitoring. And that's why we've teamed up with Adaptive Network, and like you should as well. Call today at 241-0638. That's 241-0638. Adaptive Network, your IT partner, so making it simple, stable, and secure.
Mark your calendars for Saturday, October 11th, the 6th annual Bakersfield Brunch Fest at the Kern County Fairgrounds. Your all-inclusive ticket gives you access to an assortment of brunch bites paired with bubbles and mimosas, beer, wine, cocktails, and spiked seltzers. Bakersfield Brunch Fest is brought to you by Mango Cart. There are a limited number of early bird tickets at a major discount that will be on sale this Wednesday. Go to BakersfieldBrunchFest.com now. Secure your spot for a brunch experience you'll never forget. Bakersfield, you can brunch with us.
Coming up on the Tuesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, the latest on Trump's effort to turn around crime in Washington, D.C. A huge move that has the libs losing their mind, which means it must be a brilliant.
Named Rolex and Timex. Watchdogs.
Yet another war. We'll talk about that coming up on Clay and Buck.
You know what the pirate paid for his earrings?
96.1 and AM 1180
Buccaneer.
I ate 4 cans of alphabet soup yesterday. Then I probably had the biggest bowel movements ever.
Venner of the throat blossom passed away. There was no confidence.
Fox News alert, another bad day to be a parent.
Shake. That's the way you do now. Shake. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Dr. Jeet Singh had to cancel at the last minute. That's what happens when you're a physician. But we'll talk with him again next week. You're not big on Facebook, are you? You're not big on Facebook. You know, our guy Dick Taylor is famous for writing corny, awful jokes. I actually once wrote in, that's the first time, Dick, in about 2 years that you've actually made me laugh. Because he finally put one, but they're cute and it's funny. So I got turned on for either really good or really bad jokes. I'm not sure. They made me laugh. So I thought I'd share them. Okay, you ready for this? My nephew Thaddeus got 2 dogs this summer. Yeah, I mean, Timex and Rolex. They're watchdogs. No. All right. Hang on. Do you know what the pirate paid for his ears? Buccaneer. Well, that's what I'm saying. You know, I'm leading up to the best. I had 4 cans of Val's alphabet soup. I almost blew the joke. In fact, I did blow the joke. I had 4 bowls of alphabet soup this morning. Yeah, I'm about to have the biggest vowel movement I've ever had in my life. All right, here's the best one. Here's the best one. You know, the guy that created the throat lozenge died. Yeah, there was no coffin at the funeral. I don't know. They made me smile, so I thought. 842-537-6842 KERN. So the liberals want you to believe that Washington, D.C. is safe and that Donald Trump is overreacting because he's trying to play 3-card monte. He's trying to keep your eyes off the prize, which liberals honestly believe is the Epstein case. They really think they can ride this into the midterms, and with no leaders, no message, I wouldn't be shocked if they try to stretch it out to the 28 presidential election. And it's just not resonating. This whole idea that the base of the Republican Party is sitting on the edge of its chair, waiting to hear and see these Epstein files is ridiculous. Yes, Megyn Kelly, Joe Rogan, people that need content, people that do this for a living every day, or I don't know, are podcasts daily? Is Rogan? Yeah. So they need content. That's what that's about. That's where all the clamor is. It's not coming from Republicans in Des Moines. It's not people in Sarasota, Florida. It is the influencers. It's the peddlers. It's the people that need content that's keeping the story alive. And the whole debate, because if Democrats want to be on the wrong side of fighting crime, go right ahead. We will ride that right into the midterms. Go right ahead and try to convince people that have visited DC, people that live in DC, that DC is somehow safe because the crime numbers are down. Why are the crime numbers down? Because the crime numbers, the murder rate in 2023 was astronomical. So yeah, if you compare what was going on from 23 to 24, of course they came down. Do you remember when we had Sheriff Youngblood on, not just recently, but about 6-8 months ago, maybe even a year ago? It must have been a year ago, because I was giving him an opportunity to take a victory lap because our murder rate had come down. I think we had finally, for the first time in a couple of years, weren't in the 3 digits. I think we're in the high 80s or something. And the sheriff came on and didn't really want to take a victory lap. And he said, 87 or whatever it is still bad. Just because it's come down doesn't mean that things are good. And that's the reality in our nation's capital. As much as crime has come down, and I did a little research on this, we are still the most violent capital in any country in America on the planet. Let me say that again because I bungled it. We are the most violent, have the highest murder rate of any nation on the globe. And think about some of these nations' capitals. Mexico City? We're worse than Mexico City? We're worse than Bogota? I mean, don't try to tell me, a person who, as some of you know, some of the longtime listeners know, had a close relationship to that area. The fellows that I fell into when I went to Morehouse College in Atlanta were all from Silver Spring, Maryland, and got introduced to a girl my sophomore year and dated her throughout much of the time that I was in Atlanta. And so I spent a lot of time in Silver Spring, Maryland. I spent a lot of time in Washington, D.C. with Honor Flight. And we go to specific areas during the day, very high visible tourist areas. So the veterans are extremely safe. Don't get the idea that I'm telling you that the veterans will be in danger if they go to D.C. It is simply that it is starting to ebb over into areas that it's not supposed to, areas that traditionally it hasn't happened. And just about everybody I know that has spent any time in DC knows someone who was violently attacked. I mean that. I've told you the story hundreds of times, long before this discussion came up, of the story of my childhood best friend who works at the U.S. Attorney's Office, and his receptionist's son was on a field trip in DC. And I can't remember why. I think their van had car trouble and they stopped in what they thought was a safe neighborhood. Skelly's receptionist's son got out of the van to call his mom on what was called, that you two have never probably even heard of, a payphone. And unbeknownst to this 11th grader, the payphone was the gang phone in the community, which nobody used other than the gang members. This kid's from LA, doesn't know that. They walk up and shoot him in the back of the head as he's talking to his mother. As he's literally speaking to his mom, he gets shot. And the guy doesn't even say, get off the phone. Who do you think you are? You're not from this neighborhood. No, he just simply walked up to him, put again in the back of his skull, and blew his brains out. Blew his brains out. Kid in 11th grade. Don't tell me DC is safe. And that's all you're going to hear tonight. During Trump's press conference, while he was speaking, because I watched the news mix, and it comes in a rectangle shape, and you got CNN, Fox, and MSNBC. And both CNN and MSNBC were showing DC stats. They were putting up graphics on the side of the president as he was speaking, showing the crime is down 35% and murder rate is down 20%. Well, again, that's like saying, well, Junior is doing extremely well, mama. He's now getting straight D's. He was getting F's, but now he's getting D's, so we have nothing to worry about. He can now work at Wendy's. We're all so happy for him. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm in favor of this. And shockingly, Mayor Muriel Bowser, who has been long criticized for, in fact, just to show you how DC residents feel, her approval rating on crime, 27%. Black woman in DC. And her approval rating on the crime issue is 27%. So you tell me if residents inside the district feel safe or not. Here is DC Mayor Bowser.
More to do. We need judges. You heard Janine Pirro said she needs prosecutors, and we need police in DC. I'd like to hire 500 great people over the course of the next several years to get our numbers where they need to be. And DC is hiring. So if you're interested in policing in the best city in the world, please reach out to us.
I was blown away by that. The fact that she didn't attack Trump, that she didn't try to lie and say everything's hunky-dory, everything's fine, the crime is plummeting. She's like, no. She agreed with Janine Pirro, who you'll hear after the break, about more judges. You'll hear Janine Pirro talk about changing the laws, because part of the problem is, and we're familiar with this here, as every major city is, what gangs do is the OGs get the teenagers to commit the crime, and then they get tried as a juvenile. They get sent to juvie, and they're out in a couple of years. And they've committed, a double murder, and they're out by 20, 21 years of age. So we'll take a quick break and come back, and you'll hear from the judge, who's now working for the Trump administration, talk about changing the laws and what she intends to do in terms of her role in this new rollout. But the federal police will fall under the auspices, at least for 30 days. I'll tell you about the act that provides the president to act this way. He won't be able to do this in other cities, Mr. Burdick. Why is that? DC ain't a state. And the governors of the states have use of the National Guard. That's why when he brought him out here, Gavin Newsom about fainted. But he has done it before. And my expectation is he was going to try to do it again. I suspect he'll go to Chicago or LA again, maybe New York, and test the courts again. But we'll hear from Jeanine Pirro when we come back. Then at the top of the hour, Kathy Abernathy will join us. And we will get into the Epstein case. A judge has denied the Department of Justice's bid to unseal the Maxwell documents. We'll get into that, I suppose. And coming up at 5:05, we'll meet Dr. Stacy Pfluger. She's the interim president out at Bakersfield College. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com. So I was just talking about the first pitch of the female umpire.
Oh, yeah.
Did you see that? She missed that shit by 6 inches.
She missed 14 balls.
Did she really? 14?
She was great.
Wow.
It was like the third worst.
Gino, I call you the Mike Corleone of the family because you kind of stumbled into the family business.
I worked there at junior college a little bit, never known that I'd be back into the business. And then my mom and dad took it over, and I still love the same. And they said, well, we have a restaurant. What do we do now? And my mom said, just treat people the way you want to be treated.
And Tony, it's that philosophy.
The box.
I feel like the community comes together when they talk about Luigi's because we've been there for so long. I have seen so many families and children and their children and their children. When we started, it was something else, and now look at it, it's amazing. 80-something employees, and they're just the best people in all of Bakersfield.
Luigi's Restaurant in Old World Delicatessen, where
So I think they should just go because it seems like the umpiring is getting worse. I mean, they're missing it's not even, sometimes it's not even close.
I don't know if they're just trying to be so perfect that they overdo it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's maybe kind of what it is.
And I think
but-
catchers have gotten real savvy about setting up outside and snatching it back in.
Some of them are just really good.
Yeah. It's
But
crazy.
Dude, just give me just a buzz down. You still have an umpire back there,
Right.
but just give me a buzz and say strike or ball.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
easy.
That's not a bad
Easy to
idea.
do.
Yeah.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and
They still can't hear you or the callers. Are you serious?
Look at me.
not know about, as it could end your debt
Oh,
nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what
Can you
debt
guys hear the
you might
commercial?
qualify for. So don't wait. For this free information,
If you can hear the
call
commercial, you'll hear the callers and you'll hear Chris.
800-422-8552. That's 800-422-8552. Not available in all states. Must
Better,
qualify for
okay.
enrollment. Results
All
may
right.
vary.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KE.
Seven 842 KERN. Jeanine Pirro, who has taken off the 5, very popular. By the way, speaking of the 5, did you see that Jimmy Fallon booked Greg Gutfeld? Don't tell me Stephen Colbert's firing hasn't had some impact. I mean, Fallon is certainly more apolitical and more balanced than Colbert ever was.
You rarely see Fallon get political.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
He just is
And
the goofy, lovable guy on TV.
And that's what I heard, the Gutfeld interview, who, again, for those, I'd be shocked if you all don't know who Greg Gutfeld is. He has his own show on Fox, and he's part of the panel show that comes on at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It repeats in the evenings, called The Five, with Jeanine Pirro and Jesse Walters. And Ms. Pirro used to be on it until she got hired by Donald Trump. And I forget who the liberal is. Sometimes it's former Senator Congressman Ford, and sometimes it's the girl I can't remember. But regardless, who you got? Who is it?
Let's see, Gilbert Guilfoyle. No,
That's Trump's ex. She's never on. She's never on there. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But Pirro has been hired by the president, and so as the U.S. attorney, she is going to be involved in this new update and prosecuting criminals in D.C. as well. It's part of this whole plan, not only just National Guards, but perhaps change the laws in Congress while we still have the majority and start treating these gang-banging juveniles like adults. And here is Jeanine Pirro.
We all want the same thing. We all want a safe city. We want a safe capital. We want to be able to bring our families here.
Tarlov, by the way, is the other girl's name.
With the history that makes this place great. And unfortunately, we are not in that position right now. And Mr. President, I want to thank you for taking the step that we need right now to make criminals understand that they are not going to get away with it anymore. And I'm not going to stand here and go over and over the cases. But what I can tell you is this. I see too much violent crime being committed by young punks who think that they can get together in gangs and crews and beat the hell out of you or anyone else. They don't care where they are. They can be in DuPont Circle, but they know that we can't touch them. Why? Because the laws are weak.
The laws are weak. And that's now falling on the speaker. That should be one of the first things on their agenda, is changing the law in terms of juvenile crime. Because she's right. She's absolutely right. These guys are running around DC like little mobs. And the capos, to put it in mafioso terms, are the teenagers. And the OGs are the 20 and 30-year-old thugs that sit around and take the money from these kids, but don't take the fall if they commit a murder, because they get tried as young adults. Here's more from Jeanine Pirro.
I can't touch you if you're 14, 15, 16, 17 years old and you have a gun. I convict someone of shooting another person with an illegal gun on a public bus in the chest, intent to kill. I convict him. And you know what the judge gives him? Probation. Says you should go to college. We need to go after the DC Council and their absurd laws. We need to get rid of this concept of, no cash bail. We need to recognize that the people who matter are the law-abiding citizens. And it starts today. But it's not going to end today, because the president is going to do everything we need to do to make sure that these emboldened criminals understand we see you, we're watching you, and we're going to change the law to catch you. And my final note is this. These kids understand that the jurisdiction is through the state attorney general, Brian Schwab. I did a poster of the young man from Doge who was beaten bloody with a severe concussion, a broken nose. And then I did a poster of what happens to those kids, because I can't arrest them. I can't prosecute them. They go to family court and they get to do yoga and arts and crafts. Enough. It changes today.
That was outstanding. And I think that was the tipping point for Trump. When the Doge employee got attacked trying to come to the assistance of carjacking in progress. And remember, and I just found this out this morning, in the District of Columbia, they do not count carjacking as a violent crime. How is that possible? When we've seen a grandmother who lost her arm when she got dragged out of a vehicle and she was still caught on the seatbelt as they're trying to get, so she's being dragged and lost her arm in a carjacking. How many people have you heard of who've been shot in carjackings? Many. And yet DC doesn't count that as a violent crime. So if those numbers go down, that doesn't even touch violent crime. It doesn't even affect that. So again, the Democrats find themselves in an 80-20 position. That's what I'm going to start calling them, 80-20 positions, where they want to basically defend crime. Because as you remember, if you're a longtime listener, I was on the cusp of almost supporting no cash bail because I thought it was unfair that affluent folks get to bail out the next night after they get arrested. But if you ain't got no money and your trial is in 3 months, whether you're guilty or not, we're supposed to have the presumption of innocence, but yet there you are, because you can't come up with the bail money, wasting away in jail for 3 months waiting for a trial, and you may be completely innocent. But then I'm like, no, because look at Diddy. He's a different circumstance. They wouldn't allow him to put up bail. They denied him bail, but he sat in prison for how long before his trial? But no, can't do it. It's crazy. It doesn't work. It's not going to work in New York. It's not working in DC. And that's one of the first things that I think they're going to attack. And if the Democrats want to be against 80% of the country, like they are on transgenderism, as they are on males playing with females and going into female locker rooms, as they are on parental notification, if a child is transitioning at the local school and tells their social studies teacher, and the social studies teacher does not tell the parents, they're on the wrong side. And please let them go and do the things they do. Let them allow a socialist to be elected mayor of New York. That works in New York. Doesn't work so well in Nebraska. Doesn't work so well in Wyoming or in Pennsylvania, for that matter, or any of the key swing states. Are you kidding me? We're going to socialism now? We're going to share everything? That's where we're headed? Do you know how many times socialism has been tried in the United States, particularly in the early 20th century, right around the turn of the century, the 1900s? It was almost popular at one point. And everywhere it's tried, it's failed. So if the Democrats want to defend crime and try to convince the residents of Washington District of Columbia that it's safe, you go right ahead. You go right ahead. But for the next 30 days, there are going to be 800 National Guardsmen and FBI agents patrolling at night. And if there's a significant change in the numbers, it is going to be a huge impact on the midterms and a gargantuan impact, perhaps even on 2028. It is a Monday, so the professor, Kathy Abernathy, joins us next. Don't go anywhere.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Pete Peters in Washington. President Trump says both Ukraine and Russia will have to give up land to end their war. White House correspondent Craig Clugston reports.
Ahead of Friday's meeting with Russian President Putin in Alaska, the president said
There'll be some land swapping going on.
And he took issue with Ukrainian President Zelensky's objections to giving up land for peace.
To the good, for the good of Ukraine. Good stuff, not bad stuff. Also, some bad stuff.
The president said he could know within 2 minutes of meeting with Putin whether progress was possible. Craig Clugston, The the White House.
Another request for grand jury transcripts related to the Jeffrey Epstein case and Ghislaine Maxwell has been rejected.
The judge calls the Trump administration's claim that the transcripts would bring to light new information demonstrably false. He writes, casually or promiscuously releasing grand jury materials would jeopardize the tradition of grand jury secrecy that protects the confidence of those called to testify.
No, I told a joke.
Maxwell is serving a 20-year prison
Yes.
term after her conviction on sex
The
trafficking
joke
charges
is,
for helping
well, I don't know
procure
when you heard
girls
it.
for Epstein to sexually abuse. I'm Ben Thomas.
You don't have to whisper as long as you don't say anything.
President Trump
No, I
says
told
he's
joke.
putting
The joke
local
is
police
I
under
had
federal
4
control
bowls of
and will
alphabet
deploy the
soup,
National Guard to help
and I had the biggest vowel movement I've ever had.
That was on the air?
Yes.
Val.
Vowel movement. Alphabet soup, vowel movement.
It wasn't you.
Well, that's the only allusion to
It
vowel
wasn't on
movements.
the air.
Unless
It
you're
was
talking
like-
about, unless you said something while you were walking around.
Is it only you guys or other people here can?
The only person I've talked to on
Talk you.
mic was Randy, and we talked about baseball. We talked about the
Well, yeah,
umpires.
I'm talking about the Dodgers, not the game, but my experience.
Yeah, how was it? How was the game? Which
But-
game did you go to?
Cardinals, Tuesday. So we lost.
Do what?
Like I said, I keep thinking this is like TV. I have to hide it. I don't have to hide
Yeah,
it.
you really don't. I was wondering why.
I just wanted to make sure the camera.
I'll leave you this later to look at on, we just.
Yeah.
Talk about a little bit. No, I had two funny, one funny story and one about those gifts they give you at the game.
Yeah. What'd you get?
Nothing. I'm going to give it to my 4-year-old granddaughter, you know.
What was it?
I haven't told-
Oh, okay.
I don't know how many listeners you have here versus radio. You have more. But
Yeah, I was down there Wednesday. A buddy of mine called me, and I'm like, he's like, I'm gonna pick you up, and I'm like, I'm here, boy. I'm in LA. Let's go.
oh, you went to the
We
game?
went to the
Wednesday?
day game. Yeah, went to the 1
Oh,
o'clock
and
game.
the Cardinals won.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. In another game, we blew. And we got there late, so I didn't even get the Shohei Ohtani ring that they were giving away that day.
Oh.
Because, you know, when it's whatever it is, Shohei bobblehead, Shohei t-shirt,
And what about?
they show up literally like in the morning. It's crazy.
What do you mean they? Who's they?
Fans. Like they only the first 40,000 get the
Oh, I didn't know
bobblehead or the
that.
ring.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And they were lining up in the morning. It was a 1 o'clock game. People were there at 6, 7 in the morning lining up. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like how? Like what life are you living? Then on a Wednesday afternoon, you get a
You
Wednesday
burn up
day.
That much time.
Yes, that you can spend your whole day at Dodger Stadium, from morning till
No, I
mid-afternoon.
I didn't realize that. I didn't realize there was a limit.
Yeah,
But the
first
way
of all.
they give them out when you walk in, they're just going like,
Yeah.
I could turn around. I feel like I can come back, but maybe they keep their eye on.
They
it.
do that. They'll
Yeah.
go. They'll buy 2 tickets,
Just to
and
get the gift.
and yes, and come in and then leave and then come back in. Yes, yes.
Oh,
Big
well,
dog
they
was
must
telling.
buy the way out. Cheap tickets.
Go get And Dodger tickets are going up 30% next year. 30%. I don't know how Big Dog and his company are going to keep those tickets
And I
because they're
was
like
in
6 bills.
1/3
Well,
tier.
now I do have to turn it off.
Afford to. And
I
good
know, and you
food.
see these middle class families,
Yeah,
and they've got like 5 of them with
and
them.
parking and
I don't know how they do it. And if you've got a family, you're going to spend at least $100 on food, at least.
no, it's stunning when I see, and it's and I think because of Otani, it's like heavy Asian, heavy Hispanic. I mean, it's just, and so they're making this kind of money. Hallelujah! America's the best country on earth.
Koreatown, what, 10 minutes away? Are you kidding? Chinatown?
But it is fun.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Monday, 11th day of August. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180, KERN, where we're streaming live, kernradio.com. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll get into a judge's decision to deny the Department of Justice's bid to unseal the Maxwell documents after the Department of Justice, Todd Blanche, went and sat down with Giselle Maxwell for over 9 hours. I think the Trump administration is relieved by that decision. I think they knew that was not going to happen. We'll talk about that. And then in the 5, we'll meet Dr. Stacy Pfluger. She is the interim president at BC. And we'll talk a little sports before we get out of here. Mega Gagne is the U.S. amateur champion. It's an interesting story, this young girl. She's 21 years old. But yet, when she was part of the pitch, drive, putt, and chip contest at Augusta every year when she was like 12, 13. I think she won when she was 13. She qualified for the U.S. Amateur at 15 and got to the semifinals as a 15-year-old. And, so everybody assumed, next year when she's 17, she's going to win this thing. Well, it took her 6 years. And you think, God, that's a long time. But she's only 21. She's going back to Stanford in like weeks as the U.S. amateur champion. And in the women's, more on the women's side than the men's side, a lot of the women amateur champions go on to the LPGA. That's not really true on the men's side. Only Tiger, Jack, there are a couple Phil, there are a handful of guys, but golf is so international now that U.S. Amateur Championship doesn't really mean that much on the men's side. But it's coming up this weekend. I'll certainly be watching. It's a Monday. Kathy Abernathy, how are you, Professor?
I'm very good. Yeah, you kind of burst my bubble about that first female umpire, and then she did a bad job.
She was horrible. She was horrible. Randy told me that she missed 14 calls on the day. But the funniest part is that the very first pitch, and it wasn't even, she missed it by 6 inches. It wasn't even close.
So that square they show, there's no legitimacy to that.
No, that's the strike zone.
No, I mean that it overrules her. That's not.
No, but they're moving to. They've definitely said they're moving to an appeal situation next season, where only the batter, the pitcher, or the catcher can tap their hat, and twice a game they'll review a call.
Twice a game for that player, or
for that team.
For that team.
Each team gets 2 appeals.
Wow.
Okay. But now the commissioner is talking about just going straight to the box, just using the box, or having some sort of buzz to the umpire that tells him it's a strike.
So
because the umpiring has gotten ridiculous. And now that they've added the box and we can see when they screw up, there's going to be a lot of pressure. On
but you'd still keep them for all the base.
Yeah, they've got to be there for tip fouls, and if a ball goes foul down the line, or plays at the plate, things like that, they'd still have to be there. But the umpires union is so strong, and these guys get in there at like 30, 35 and leave at like 70, and they're 60, 65 years old out there making calls, and they can barely, they just had cataract surgery.
And all the hot dogs you can eat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They live a pretty doggone good life. I couldn't do it. I don't know how you could you're in a different city every 3 or 4 or 5 days.
So you travel with the team. You're a team. I didn't know
No.
they were home stadium.
No, you're assigned. You go from city to city. You don't follow a team, because then
you'd be on their side. Oh.
Yeah, you'd be covering the same. Yeah, you have a random schedule.
You don't even stay with the stadium.
No, you go city to city.
Oh.
You go city to city.
Huh.
Which
No, I
just
didn't know that.
in 162 games, I just can't even imagine. So I'm sure it's regional. I'm sure you go like San Diego, LA, San Francisco, and then they probably start.
short.
And then they probably start moving you east.
But you're
And they
not on
all-
the team plane, because that'd be kind of a cold shoulder treatment.
Oh, can you imagine the umpire that
Is that
had
seat
you-
available?
helped you
What about
lose
this
the
seat?
game? Yeah. No, that wouldn't work out. Anyway.
Oh.
Thanks for filling in. I heard you were outstanding. I didn't get to hear on Monday, but I heard everything went well.
Tried to be, but then I did go to the Dodger game the next day. The Cardinals lost, but my shock to my system was, I know they give trinkets at every game, and this one was Hello Kitty, which if I didn't have a 4-year-old granddaughter, I wouldn't have cared. But still, so they give you these, and I'm with 3 other women. Well, one's Madeline, she's a woman, but still, okay, they're grown women. Okay. Within a second, a woman comes up to one of the women and says, one of my friends, and says, "Can I have that? I have a daughter at home." And she hands it to her. And I said, "What are you doing? There could be somebody in Bakersfield that would like it." "Oh, I don't care." Okay, now the game's over. We're walking out. This man.
She asked a woman for the.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now we're out.
So rude.
Now we're at the end of the game. We're walking. I guess we're out of the control area. And there's a man dressed pretty nice. He's about 40 years old. He says, "My daughter, I didn't have one for her. And I wonder if I could have one." And I'm thinking, "Oh, where's your daughter right now? Why didn't you get one? Or did you put her on Uber home?" I mean, it just didn't add up to me. This other woman with me, and he says, "I'll pay you $50. And she says,
now we're talking.
No, she says, "No, just take it." How nuts is that? And so he takes it. So I can't believe you did that. The next day, I find out that this is all on eBay, this stuff.
Yeah.
$150 includes shipping, $120 and you pay shipping. $150 for nothing more than a plastic bag with a handle thing, strap, and some Dodger something in there. $150. And there were like this was Tuesday, so last Wednesday, there were probably 20 ads. I looked at it today, there may be 5 ads. So they're telling me these things sold, because I'm thinking if I did it, I'd hold on to it for a while.
I was going to say, so that means that your granddaughter is out of luck.
No, I kept hers. But, and she, after a minute and a half, she's going to not care about it either. But I didn't realize that's a business.
Yeah.
There's no way any of those people were their kids. They're just making it up.
Yeah.
So,
I was there Wednesday, and we got there late, so we did not get the Shohei Ohtani ring.
Oh.
But I heard that it was a 1:00 game, and people were there at 6 a.m. to get in line to make sure they were one of the first 40,000 to get this.
Because it's just a certain number.
First 40,000.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, first 40,000.
Wow. Gee, they could take off all day from work.
Yeah.
Because you have to go to work to buy a Dodger ticket. There's no other way.
And the attendance is out of the roof. The Dodgers have already passed the 3 million. The Dodgers were the first ever to, I was a kid, the first ever to pass 1 million. They were the first ever to pass 2 million. Now they just passed 3 million. We still got like 50 games left. And they're theorizing they're going to be the first to go to 4 million fans in
and
one
if
season.
any of you Google the price of tickets,
It's crazy.
That's
And
a lot of money.
And I got bad news. They're going up 30% next season. That is crazy.
Yeah.
And that's where sports is headed, where it's just going to be rich folks.
I don't see how there's that many people spend that much money. I was shocked, and we were like up in the 3rd tier. There's a word for it. Because in the old days, like even 20 years ago, 15 years ago, we bought in that almost that bottom, right by the grass section. And we're always on the Cardinal side, so I suppose that's less in demand. But still, it was not crazy expensive, not at all, or I would have screamed about it. But so this is what happened to me then. One other story. So when we got there and we're parked, my friend in the front seat, she said, "Oh, I forgot to roll my window up." So I pushed the button. These new cars, you have to push the button and then you push the other thing to start the car. I pushed the button so I could roll the window up. I get out of the car. I hit the lock on my keychain. It was a weird sound, bump, 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 like that. And I thought, that's weird, but I kept walking. We come back 2.5 hours later, the car is totally dead. Okay, now it's what, 10 o'clock at night. What's that?
What?
I heard that.
That was my phone, sorry.
Oh, okay. I thought
Just
that
my
was
phone.
somebody saying,
No.
already.
No, it's my phone.
So what do? You call AAA. You can't do that because the cars, as they're leaving Dodger Stadium, every exit is exit. There's no entrance.
Well,
They're all exit.
no, you lost me because my phone went off.
Oh, okay.
Why was your battery dead?
Because you have to take that button off, and I hadn't shut it off. I turned the power on the car.
Okay.
And then without the engine, because then the engine's the next step. There's 2 steps. You push that and you put your foot on the brake and it stops. I didn't do that because I was just rolling up the window stupidly. And when I got out to lock the car, I hit my keychain thing and it made a weird sound and went pop, pop, pop for each door. I thought, that's weird, but I didn't think twice. And it meant it didn't lock, lady. So,
Right.
okay. And the power's on
So you left your car unlocked
and powered.
and with the battery running.
Right. But you don't hear it like an engine.
Right.
Yeah. So I come out 3 hours later. It's totally dead. I can't even open the trunk because Madeline wondered maybe I had a jumper and I don't. So
You don't have jumper cables in your car?
no, I never needed it till then.
Females.
So I'm thinking,
females,
okay, AAA cannot get in here because everybody's in all the lanes exiting. It's pitch dark. So one of
That 76 station ain't open.
No, but they think they're going to get in line to. So one of my friends runs one way, Madeline runs the other. They find cops. They tell them we know that problem, so we have our own version of AAA, their own. So we leave your hood up. Our hood's up. So the guy drives up and he opens the door and he looks at me, and of course I'm in Cardinal clothes. He goes, "Oops, wrong jersey." He gets back in the vehicle.
Good. Hope he drove off. Later, lady. Go ask the Cardinals to help you out.
Right. So anyway, it's fun. So he started it and it worked out. And so anyway, it was. But
So
it
the
added a lot of
Dodgers,
time.
the Dodgers have their own little. As long
It'd
as
be
you don't get a
Dodger
cop or
AAA.
somebody.
Yeah, no, it's just
they
they'll
come
jump
in-
your car and they'll
Oh,
do
that's
that
pretty
for you.
cool.
Yeah, that is.
That's good to know.
There's
too.
no way calling AAA they could get in there. Maybe
No
they
way.
would tell if you never talk to a human really. So no, very fortunate because it was only probably an extra 30 minutes for the whole thing. But even to find us in this, you know what it's like.
Yeah.
A trillion cars pulling out at once. Lights
How did
and
they
stars.
find you?
I don't know. They said put your hood up, and maybe I saw one. I don't know whether Madeline or this other friend of mine got to the person and pointed to an area, but because we were pretty close to the exit is where we parked. But still, anyway, word of the wise: well, shut your car off. Don't be stupid like me. When your car
Yeah.
doesn't lock right, it means something. And I should have waited, but I wanted to get in to get my Hello Kitty bag. I guess.
Yeah, because I thought it was virtually impossible in the 21st century to run down your battery
No, you
because the
can't.
lights they come on automatically and go off automatically, etc. It's not like you can.
Well, it's true, but the car wasn't even lit up when I don't think it was when I left it. It looked dark, but then you're in I wouldn't notice, and I want to get in line, get moving, all that stuff. So anyway, and then my friend she's a party animal. She wants to go to the Hotel Marmont or
Charmant.
where
Yes.
movie stars hang out.
That's where John Belushi died.
Oh, okay, yeah, and somebody
Is it-
else.
What is it? Marmont? What is it, Chris?
Marmont. I
Please
think.
stand by. Hey Siri, where did John Belushi die? She gave it
What
the
a
city.
shock.
What's the hotel? Marmont.
Yes,
Marmont.
yes.
Marmont.
And Richard Lewis, this friend of mine, she said, I met him there. She says, he's dead now. And I'm thinking, even
The
meeting
comedian?
him, yeah, he's not a big deal. Was he
He
ever?
was- he was
pretty
funny.
big for a
Yeah,
while?
yeah,
Yeah,
wasn't
I
big.
guess he died.
And then didn't he
Whatever.
get on like one of those TV law shows?
Well,
Didn't Richard? Oh, you would know.
Richard Lewis.
Didn't Rick? Do you know who Richard Lewis is? The comedian. Yeah,
If
he
you
got on
saw
one
his
of those.
face, you might.
Yeah, he got on one of those CSI. What is T-Bag or T Jones or T Ice-T?
I don't think he's
What?
on that.
Well, which one is he on? That's the one.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, that makes him a little more famous, I
Yeah.
guess. But I thought he was a
Anyway.
comedian. But anyway, I said, we're not going. I said, the guy said, don't leave your car on for 30 minutes. I said, we're going to Bakersfield. I'm not shutting this baby off till we get there. So anyway, that was that. So
Oh, that's funny.
Funny
That's
night,
funny.
but it was fun.
That's pretty brave of you to wear Cardinals gear at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, we noticed we had another cop who came up wondering what our problem was with the hood up.
Anybody give you a hard time?
Well, they all made jokes.
But
Yeah.
nobody was like, "Hey, lady, what's the matter with you?"
Well, this friend of mine who was wearing Dodger blue, she goes up and the whole thing, she tells him everything, all the way inside, all of it's Dodger. And he goes, ma'am, I'm married. And this is
TMI,
like,
yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, there's a little too much information there, lady.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you. Don't need to know all that.
I got crazy friends, but they were fun.
That's funny. That's good. Glad you had a good
So,
time.
Yeah.
Nothing like a Dodger game, if you
Right.
ask me.
It is.
Nothing like a Dodger game.
It is a fun night, great seats, everything, good view everywhere.
So what is on your mind on this Monday?
Well, I think a lot of your audience is hearing about gerrymander, all this redrawing of districts.
Yes.
Hearing about that. And to just put California in perspective, we are gerrymandered, even though we have a quote commission. The rules that were written, this is Schwarzenegger and Common Cause. It is so broad, it is so easy to gerrymander that we have it already. And this chart I'm going to leave for Ralph Bailey, so he'll be an expert on this, that we're getting Republicans statewide, unknown Republicans. A Republican, your neighbor has higher name ID than Republicans who have run statewide for lieutenant governor, for controller, for treasurer. These are statewide votes. They get 40 to 45% of the statewide vote. That's darn good. No money, no name. But how many congressmen do we have in the districts? We have 52 congressional districts in California, 52. 9 are districts a Republican can win. 9 out of 52. How can that be? It has to do with drawing gerrymander. So while Newsom is calling a special session of the legislature next week, and his plan, because of Texas and other states, he says, well, I'm going to outdo you. And he's going to suspend the commission, which doesn't matter to me because their criteria is so broad. They can gerrymander. And he's going to take 5 more congressional seats out of 9, and to try to win the House in 2026. So while as Republicans, we're going to fight this proposal, it's going to be on the November ballot this November. It's going to have new lines for Congress. And the public's going to be told we're going to pay all that money for ballots and sample ballots and your live ballots. All that's going to go on this fall.
Aren't we inevitably, isn't somebody going to just get a hold of this thing and simply turn it over to AI?
Thank you, Ralph Bailey. Kathy Abernathy plan. I'll call it the Ralph Bailey plan.
Well, I'm not the first to come up with it,
just
but it's just the most common sense thing in the world to do.
My husband was working with Schwarzenegger in 2008, and the plan was, and Schwarzenegger had agreed to it. It was Ted Costa, Prop 13, and my husband Mark, and Schwarzenegger and Common Cause. And the plan was top criteria, honor city and county lines. The less you break them, the better your plan.
Right.
Then you can go to court and you can say, hey, judge, I've drawn a better plan than this. But at the last minute, Schwarzenegger went with Common Cause, and when they went with this communities of interest, urban, job opportunities. What community of interest is job opportunity? So you can do anything. There's no way to challenge it. And so it's given us for the last 14 years these seats. So no, that's exactly what I want to do. And I'm going to get one drawn. I'm going to give the census data, into Chat GPT, any of these programs. And then I'm going to say divide 52 congressional by equal population, and let us know the number of city and county lines that are broken, because whoever has a better plan, the one thing I haven't figured out is who's the final adjudicator of who's got, because if a plan breaks city lines 22 times versus 21 times, we should look at it. That you can't play with. And I agree with you. Now that we have this system, that should be the system. Just mathematical, don't cut, because the cities and counties are not going to change their borders for redistricting, okay?
Right.
So those won't change. So that'll give us fair shot, and your vote will matter more. And so I hope we get it done. I'm going to call it the Ralph Bailey Act. I think that's a lot better than my name. So
what's going to happen in Texas? They still can't get a quorum. The Democrats are still hiding out. Why'd they go to Illinois? Why wouldn't you go to Louisiana and go gamble on a riverboat or something, or head to Atlanta? Why'd they go to Illinois?
Well, I am guessing that the governor knows some place where they can all stay. That's nice, and it's summertime. Yeah, Pritzker, and it's summer, so their kids are out of school, and maybe I don't know where they're staying. I guess the governor of Texas was going to send the cops after him.
He has.
Yeah.
They're looking for these guys.
Well, I wouldn't want to be in Chicago in the summer, but yeah, that must be what's going on there, that they don't want to make a quorum. All they can do is stop a quorum. And I don't know whether the governor could redo state law fast enough to say a quorum is based on those present, because that is an unfair game.
Well, apparently not.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't done it.
Hasn't done it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Speaking of Pritzker, I heard him being talked about this week. And by the way, are you watching Bill Maher at all?
No, I should.
You
told me to, and I need to. I watch it when somebody puts part of it up.
They had George Will on, who, when I was growing up, was the columnist
He
in
was,
Washington,
yeah.
D.C. He was the common sense Republican.
Right.
And he was just incredible. He was just incredible. He really, really was. And Stephen A. Smith was on. And for the second time, Stephen A. Smith absolutely blew me away. He absolutely blew me away.
Okay, I'm stupid.
And I'm not,
Stephen A.
he's
Smith.
the loud talking black guy that works for ESPN.
Oh.
And he somehow was one of the few Democrats that said, stop whining. Let me tell you why black folks voted for Trump. Let me tell you why Latinos voted for Trump. Let me tell you why young men voted for Trump. This is why. You had a bad candidate. You had no message. You pulled off a coup and removed the man who should have never had run in the first place. And people were like, holy crap, who is this guy? And the first time I heard him talk, I was like, I particularly don't like him. He screams, he yells, this is his thing. And I know I scream and yell at times, but that's his whole shtick. In fact, Saturday Night Live has done skits on him. He's so famous for screaming and yelling and his whole thing. But he, again, just blew me away on Maher. And, because Maher said, what's going on with you? You had a big balloon at one point, but I haven't heard much. They said, well, I haven't ruled anything out. I mean, I think if we're, if I'm the nominee, we're in trouble. But I'm not ruling it out because the Democrats are in trouble.
Yeah.
And he just chronicled everything. And I don't know. But where I was going with this is they brought up Pritzker. And I don't know whether it was Bill Maher, it was another show, but he said exactly what I have been saying since I've been studying presidents. A fat man cannot get elected president of the United States. It hasn't happened since Taft was around turn of the century. No, not 2000, 1900. It just can't. You can't be bald and you can't be fat. And that's not body shaming. That's called history. You show me a fat and or bald man who's been elected in the last 150 years.
No, my husband studied that. He said it cost you 5% of the vote, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, even local too. And now we have, prior to that, there wasn't TV and stuff, so it probably you could get away with it. They
Right.
would only see in the newspaper. But,
And even then, in the early part of the 20th century, before TV, none of those guys, Wilson, Harding, Coolidge, who did
they weren't.
Hoover? None of those guys
real
were
handsome or anything.
No, they weren't, but they weren't fat.
No.
None of them were fat. The only one I can point to was Taft.
I think Shapiro of Pennsylvania, but they've walked away from the Jewish vote, and that's his background. I think he's a good candidate.
I don't know if he sells all over the country.
Well,
I think there's still a hint of anti-Semitism.
Well, yeah, they're
throughout
not
the
just a
country.
hint right now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
So sledgehammer. But I think of all their potentials, he's somebody that I think is fairly rational. He's doing a good job there. So
Kamala might be sitting in the White House if she had selected him as her vice president.
Oh my goodness, that woman.
She's getting worse.
She is, yeah, she's worse. She's so lost. I don't know how she's never been completely normal lifestyle or life, or her jobs were all handed her. Willie Brown, directed her all the way through. So she never had to scramble, never had to make tough decisions herself. So
I don't think she ever runs for anything again.
I don't either. I don't know who would want to get behind her. I just heard a collective sigh by Democrats when she said she wasn't running.
Yeah.
Nobody was.
Because she's not going to bump Newsom out of the way. And I can't think of an election where two people from the same state were running for the nomination.
No, that doesn't work. But I think Newsom's going to have such a financial nightmare that he leaves California with next year. How the country's going to vote for him, I don't.
It ain't going to happen.
No,
it ain't going to
there's
happen.
Too much record on him.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks again for filling in.
Yes, anytime.
Appreciate it, Kathy. Kathy Abernathy, everybody. Quick time out. More TRBS. I would stick around if you. He's got a lot of money.
Who?
Pritzker.
That's what he does.
He's got a
have.
ton of money, boy. I didn't realize how wealthy he was.
Yeah, that family. Well, Valerie, Obama's woman, Valerie.
Oh,
is she part of that connected Valerie?
I know you're talking
I
about.
thought she
A little
was
short
Hyatt
woman.
hotels. Yeah, short.
Yeah.
This lays out some of these stats to show how bad it is. considering how good we do in California. Like, let's just show you what it's like to be out of 80. 19 out of 80. You don't even have a third. If you don't have a third, you don't even need to show. You can't stop anything. So I'm trying to show people that we're getting the raw.
There's nothing worse than a one party state.
If we even had a third, we could stop some things. So anyway.
And it's too bad we don't have a viable gubernatorial candidate.
No. But my problem with what good are they? All they can do is veto.
Yeah.
They can't get anything good passed.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. See you later, Kathy. How'd she do Monday? Yeah. Had a bunch of guests.
But they're good, like political guests and stuff. So it was really good. Everyone really liked Terry. Everyone loved Cassie and Rick.
Hold on, let me know. The what? Really?
Anything good or bad. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, people I'm sure were listening. I just didn't hear that.
Charges, including torture
He
and
did great, though,
first-degree murder. Residents of Arbin have begun voting in a special
Yeah.
mail-in election. The election will determine who fills the vacant seat on the city council. The election scheduled for August 26 features 3
I heard
candidates
some of
running.
Teresa,
This
she was
after a
good.
debate between the council and the community on whether to hold the election. It comes with a $30,000 price tag. The ballots were sent out on July 20th, and there are only drop boxes, no polling sites. A convicted 3 strikes offender will not be getting out of prison anytime soon. Parole has been denied for Randy Hansen, citing his continued risk to public safety. 66-year-old Hansen has been behind bars for 29 years after being convicted for vehicle theft following 2 other burglary convictions triggering California's 3 strikes law. He was
Well,
sentenced
good.
to
We know we can
25
use
years
it
to
in the
life in
future.
1997. A 16-year-old has died after a 2-vehicle crash. It happened at around 6 o'clock Sunday evening in the 4400 block of Union Avenue. Bakersfield police say that a Jeep was heading north on Panorama Drive when it crossed into the northbound lane of Union Avenue and collided with a Hyundai. A 16-year-old female passenger of the Hyundai was badly hurt. Despite life-saving efforts, she did not survive. Police believe that speed and drug intoxication could have contributed to the crash. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for. So don't wait. For this free information, call 800-422-8552, 800-422-8552. That's 800-422-8552. Not available in all states, must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
It's the JR Show.
Let me explain to you why Andre Gonzalez winning the assembly seat is a good thing. He goes to Sacramento. He's one of what? A supermajority where his vote really doesn't matter. Let's be honest. It doesn't. It's not going to make a difference. But his vote on the city council, now that matters. If you take him out of that equation, plug in somebody else in there, this city starts to look a lot different. Bye, Assemblyman Andre Gonzalez. Hello, City Councilman.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
So I surprisingly had a pleasant vacation and a really nice birthday, which is rare for me over the last 5 or 6 years. I don't know why. I just been cursed. Seems like something goes wrong over my birthday every summer. I've had a couple of pretty good birthdays. About 5 or 6 years ago, Paul Sturgeon and his son Chris flew me up to Lake Tahoe. That was unbelievable. And the Mammoth trip really wasn't that bad. Elevation sickness was weird. I couldn't walk more than 50 yards without being out of breath, and it was just kind of strange, but it actually wasn't that bad. But most of them are pretty crappy. I don't know why, but this was pleasant. I had a good vacation, got to go to LA, got to see Mom and Thaddeus, and she's hanging in there. And I saw Superman.
I'm actually going to see it tonight.
Don't do it.
Oh?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay,
I don't know. It'll be interesting. This will be interesting. Different in generations. I'm several generations older than. Oh, let's don't say several.
So okay, I'm taking it as it is not the style of Superman you were expecting.
No.
I remember we had this conversation about like what you were expecting from this movie, and you were kind of wanting more of like an Adam West Batman kind of a thing.
I just want him to do Superman stuff.
Yeah.
Have you seen the original?
Yeah.
It's filled with Superman stuff.
Yeah.
Like he first gets to the Daily Planet, and the first day as Clark Kent, he's got to save Lois. He stops a helicopter from falling in the middle of New York. He saves the president of the United States, whose Air Force One's engine gets shot off by a lightning bolt. Fly. Just fly. Don't look outside. Just fly. I don't know what it is, but we're flying. That's crazy that I remember that line. But there's a whole series of him doing Superman stuff. And I don't mean to blow it for you, but I got a radio show to do. He gets his ass kicked throughout the whole damn movie. And as people told us before I went and saw it, Crypto should get higher billing in the credits than the girl that plays Lois Lane. Crypto is all over the movie as Superman gets his butt kicked. And there are these things called mega humans who have the same power that Superman has. And there's a brother who actually, and of course, the only black character in the movie, but there's a brother who's smarter than Superman and has like these unbelievable powers.
Yeah, Mr. Terrific.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, it's technology, but yeah.
So what do we need Superman for? If we got all these mega humans and we got Tom Terrific, what the hell we need? Or I guess Dwayne Terrific or Marcus Terrific, your brother. What do we need Superman for? And they have to bail him out because he's getting his ass kicked all throughout the movie. I don't know. I swear I almost walked out, but I said I can't rag on it if I walk out, because now if I had walked out on it and you come back tomorrow and say, Ralph, I don't know what you're talking about. That was a great film. You should have stayed for the last half hour. That's how you blew it. You didn't see the whole movie. How can you even talk about it, Bailey? You didn't even see the whole damn film. So I was like, all right, I'm going to sit through this thing. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to hear what you say about it. It really will. Because it could just show the tremendous, and having just had a birthday. I don't think I'm ever going to refer to my age on air again. It's gotten really uncomfortable. The number is just, I really thought I'd be one of these cool old men. I really did. Because my hair really hasn't gone that gray.
No, it hasn't.
I still have my hair.
This is true.
I'm in decent shape, although I haven't really walked in 6 weeks.
Oh, well, yeah, the foot thing.
Still can't do it. I had a tea time. I had a tea time Sunday with Chris and Alan, and I was able to swing club, but I still.
How are you moving around during the vacation?
On and off. My blood system is filled still with uric acid. And so it moves around in my foot. And then there were 2 days where it got in my knees, which is even worse than the feet because getting in and out of cars and sitting down or getting out of the tub, and yes, I take baths, is murder. Murder. And I just got to deal with it until I get this uric acid. I can't even start the medication, the allopurinol, that staves it off until I get the uric acid out of my system. And if you remember, I went and saw my primary care physician, Hemel Cothry, an overall good egg and just an outstanding doctor. And they took an x-ray and they took my blood and discovered my uric acid level was just ridiculous. And the x-ray showed there's something wrong with my fourth toe. Although at night I can take my fourth toe and move it around and have absolutely no pain. So I don't know what is wrong with my fourth toe, but I'm gonna go see Dr. Echeverry. But it's weird. It's weird. I can swing a club. I just don't think I could do the hills of Bakersfield Country Club. So I just dealing with it. Reason I bring it up though was, as I mentioned, I took a blood test and an x-ray. And through the blood test, Hemel, Dr. Cothry, discovered that my PSA number was high. It jumped from 1.2 for my last blood test to 3.7. Now, anything under 4 is normal, but I'm knocking on the door of abnormal, and 7 or 10 is, from what I understand, is essentially cancer. If there are physicians out there that want to type me up, feel free. I have no idea what I'm talking about. 842-5376 is our phone number. But this is what I was told. And so now Hemel is betting, or we're all praying, that it is an infection in my prostate. And I'm on antibiotics for the next 4 weeks. I've been on for like 2 weeks. So 2 months. And we'll check it again at the 2-month period. My point being, however, as you all know, the regular listeners, me banging the cage about seeing a physician on the regular. Let's say I don't have gout. I'm not due for a checkup until like November. What if I hadn't had my blood taken and found out that my PSA had jumped to 3.7? And that's really why I was disappointed we didn't get to talk to Dr. Jeet Singh today, because I wanted to get a second opinion on, Hemel is very blunt, but he's very kind at the same time. And I wanted to hear what Jeet had to say about my level and how dangerous it is. And the next step, if in fact it's not an infection, is to have a biopsy. And I'm praying we can avoid that. But I would have never known this. I would have never known this had I not simply had my blood drawn. And if you're over 45 years old and you're not seeing a physician, I think the younger you are, obviously, the less often. But if you're not seeing a doctor 2 times a year, you're a freaking idiot. And if you have a family and a wife and children or grandchildren, you're an irresponsible idiot. Because it's a simple prick in the arm, and they can tell you what your diabetic situation is, your A1C. They can tell you what your prostate's doing. Unfortunately, there's nothing to do about your colonoscopy. You got to go have the thing stuck up your butt and do the Cologuard. But that's a simple thing to do. And the tragic thing is these things are so incredibly preventable. I'm worried, don't get me wrong, but we've caught it early. So even if it is cancer in my prostate, they can come in and take that portion out before it spreads, and I should be okay. But imagine if I hadn't had the blood test and I go another 6 months and now it's a 4.5. Please, if there's anything that comes out of my pie hole that you listen to and take seriously and actually enact and adopt as part of your life skills, go see a doctor. It really is that simple. I would go 4 times a year if you're over 50. I'd go every quarter if you're over 50. But go see a physician. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll check the board, see what you all are talking about. We haven't done that yet this afternoon. Then coming up top of the hour at 5 o'clock, we're going to meet Dr. Stacy Pfluger. She is the interim president out at Bakersfield College. Talk a little sports before we get out of here. We have a new U.S. women's amateur champion, and she's a Stanford girl, following the footsteps of the greatest golfer who ever lived. Mr. Tiger Woods, of course. And Shohei Ohtani gets read the riot act from Dave Roberts. On a 3-2 pitch, he swung at a ball that literally rolled into the dugout. It was so outside, it rolled into the dugout. And Shohei is swinging on a 3-2 pitch. And they also criticized him for stupid base running. He's on second base with the go-ahead run. And Freddie Freeman, Mr. Get a hit with runners in scoring in position, is at the plate. And Shohei tries to steal third. Like, what are you doing? We'll talk about that before we get out of here as well. And a Kern County fireman is fighting for his life. A battalion chief on his way to help out at the Canyon fire flipped his vehicle and was ejected and is fighting for his life down in Newhall. Talk about that a little bit before we get out of here. It's the Ralph Bailey Show. Right here on a Monday on Newstalk 96.1 AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live, kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Coming up. Two things. One, Messmaker right now. Two, the walnut. Remember the walnut guy or the prostate cancer guy? Hey, he's on the line. He had some info he wanted to share with you.
Policy. We'll discuss that. Plus, the big summit with Putin in Alaska looms. How is it looking for Trump to end yet another war? We'll talk about that coming up on Clay and Buck.
Live 9 to noon. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You know, the most mail I get, like 2 or 3 times a week, is from Raymond James, the account I have with Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. And you guys know me. I'm an idiot. I open up about half that mail, but I opened up recently and saw a nice little figure there that Daniel Petrie is doing wonders for me in terms of my investments. Call Daniel today at 395-9400, 395-9400 if you're thinking about divesting. That's all I'm trying to do. If you want to get beyond just your 401k and ultimately for me, Social Security, go invest with Daniel Petrie. Give him a call, 395-9400, or just tune in on Thursdays. He joins us at 4:30. We talk about the national debt or any question that you may have, along with his political knowledge that explains what's going on inside the Beltway and how that impacts your wallet. Daniel Petrie and the folks at Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. Does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or MPWA Inc., DBA Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
Please meet Paul Sheldon's client, Rod Geis.
Hello, Kern County. This is Rod Geis. My wife and I recently changed our health care coverage to Medicare. We were so fortunate to have found Paul Sheldon. Paul and his associates Kelly, and Christine were indispensable in guiding us through the
Prime
transition.
Equity
They have
Clause.
comprehensive knowledge and experience in all aspects of insurance, Medicare,
Prime Equity
and the
Clause.
option. They listened to our questions every
Yeah.
time we walked in the door, and they followed up very promptly with the answers we needed. With Paul's help, we made the best decisions for us. The process was painless, and we now have comprehensive medical coverage at a very
Really?
affordable price. So if you are considering retirement and a change to Medicare
Is that named after
Paul
his dad, or
Sheldon
that's
Insurance
just
benefits and
that's
planning
they
is
named it?
hands down the best place you can go.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
Really?
2298. Americans may not
Yeah,
agree
because his
on much,
jersey is
but
like
we
the number
agree
one
on
selling
Social
jersey right
Security.
now.
We all pay in. It ought to be there when we need it. Social Security could face a
Wow.
funding gap in less than a decade, and I don't want to see a pay cut. I'm with AARP in the fight to protect the Social Security we earn.
Pledge to protect Social Security at aarp.org/weearnedit.
Yeah,
That's
easy. And he gets 14% of
aarp.org/weearnedit. Paid for by
Oh, it doesn't say
AARP.
what it said.
Ooh, what was that? That is business phone bliss with
Brilliant.
the Ooma cloud phone
Brilliant.
system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
Yeah.
You sound very calm. I am.
I'm telling you, my
Ooma
dad
has
is famous.
everything
I
I need
tell
to
on
run
the
my
show all the
business
time. My
more
dad used to
efficiently,
say,
like
you
virtual
can answer
receptions,
8
call
questions out
routing,
of
and
10
video conferencing.
with the word
It
money.
starts at just
What
$19.95
was
per
this
month
about?
per
About
user,
money.
plus taxes and
About money.
fees.
$5.
Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
The Charlie Kirk Show, weekdays at 6 p.m. on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
842-537-6842-KERN. Let's check the board. What do you got?
Ralph, you're thinking of Richard Belzer, not Richard Lewis.
Oh, you're right. You're right. They're right. Richard Lewis appeared on 2.5 Men. Did you watch 2.5 Men?
I watched some of it. Once Charlie Sheen left, though.
Oh yeah, I don't watch any of the. What's his name?
Kutcher.
Yeah, no. But I'm still watching because I never watched it when I was a kid, when I was younger, when it was on live in the 90s. But I watched it on reruns. Same thing with Everybody Loves Raymond. I never watched that when it was live, but I watched the reruns primarily because I've been, held hostage in my own damn apartment for the last month. And Everybody Loves Raymond and 2.5 Men are on like all day. Like on some channel, you can find one of those two shows on almost literally all day long. But Richard Lewis played his accountant. Charlie finds out that he's broke, and he goes to his accountant, who's in the seedy office, and it's Richard Lewis. It's Richard Lewis. Now, I know I'm right about that, but you're right. Belzer, who is also a former comedian, that's why I got confused, was the guy on with T-Bone or T-Bags or Lipton Tea. Well, what was his name? What's Child's name?
Ice-T.
Ice-T. No, I know Ice-T because I'm in love with his wife.
Really?
Oh, you don't like his wife?
No. I'm just curious. I've never heard. I'm not sure if
Have you seen her? You've never seen Ice-T's wife?
No, I've seen her. I don't think I've ever heard you say this.
Ooh. What is there not to like?
Oh, that's fair. That's absolutely fair.
Yeah. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Ice-T's wife. Big fan. And how he pulled that off, I'll never know. Because he was a gangster. I mean, he was like a real gangster. And how he, yeah.
9 times out of 10, it can be answered with what?
Yeah, money. Yeah. Who you got?
Leonard's on the line for you.
Leonard, you're on the Ralph Bailey Show.
Hey, Ralph. Hey, I've been on your show in the past. I used to do the prostate cancer run walks.
Yeah.
And when you talk about numbers, so you can have a real high number, not have prostate cancer. You can have a real low number and have prostate cancer. So a lot of what they look at nowadays is what they call the rate of velocity, the change from one year to the next. Like for mine, I was 1.8. I went to 3.56, and then I went to like 4.5 within a year. And I found out I had prostate cancer. My father passed away 42 years ago from it. Missed it. It was different back then. They didn't check for it. But your doctor's doing the right thing. The first thing you want to do is check for an infection. If you don't have an infection, but yeah, it's not like going, if you're below 4, you're okay. It could be. Let's, like I say, fingers crossed. My fingers are crossed. I'm saying a prayer for you. It's just an infection. But yeah, you definitely, like you said, you're on track with. You want to get checked yearly because that yearly check can mean the difference between catching it early or having it metastatic.
Absolutely. Thanks for the call. We appreciate it. That's great information.
Okay. Thanks, Ralph.
Thank you.
All right, bye.
It's always a cheerful call to get.
Silver linings.
So, Ralph, you actually could have cancer right now. But I listen every day. I love your show. Gotta go. Thanks. That really kind of slowed down my day just a little bit.
You don't
just a little
have
bit.
it.
I pray to God I don't, man.
Maybe it's all connected to what's wrong with your foot, your toe. You have it. You have a weird. I don't know. I'm just trying to help you out here.
My prostate and my foot. Okay. That's some unique biology, right?
You got some. You got something wrong with your toe, which is causing something wrong with you.
What you could have said is perhaps the uric acid that is causing your foot problem may have something to do with your prostate going up.
There you go.
But that's always good to know that at 3.7 that I could have cancer as I'm sitting here.
Yeah, I put the 2 dots up there. All you got to do is write the line. That's all.
Thanks, Leonard. I really excited. No, I'm at least I caught it early. If in fact I do. But do not ignore these things. It doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. 842-5376. 842-KERN. What else you got?
You got Daily Dave on the line real quick.
Daily Dave, what's really going on?
Hey, Ralph, how's your mommy doing?
She's doing extremely well. I posted a picture of her and my nephew on Facebook.
That's awesome. You got to see her a little bit?
I did, yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, who won yesterday? Did Scheffler win again, or who won? You know?
I have no idea. I was watching the U.S. Amateur. I have no idea. Yeah, I was watching the ladies play.
Justin Rose won.
Yeah.
Justin Rose won, Chris tells me.
Oh, wow. I was hoping that Tommy kid would win, but he keeps finding a way to lose, so.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hey, our Dodgers, they win some, they lose some, right? What do you think? Are they honing in on the end of the season?
No, we're in deep trouble. Trouble. Oh, yeah. We have no bullpen.
Snell. Yeah, I guess you're right, Snell, but our starters are looking good.
Exactly. And they leave with leads. Tyler left with a lead. I can't remember whether Blake won that game or not. I think he did. But Yoshinobu's been burned a couple of times, and we just don't have a closer. Evan Phillips is gone for the season. It's going to come down to Michael Kopech or Tanner Scott or who else is about to come off the IL? As a third
guy you guys just traded with the Reds, Rios or Rajas, something like that.
But our bats are coming alive, aren't they?
A little bit, yeah. Well, yeah, we're scoring enough runs to win, but if you have a 1 or 2 run lead in the 8th or 9th inning and you can't stop it, because the starters can't go 8 or 9, that's not going to happen.
You cannot give up 3 bombs at the end of the game. I got
Yeah, where Tynan gives up 2 and then Vesia comes in and gives up another one. 3 home runs in 2 innings to end the game. Yeah, we're in trouble.
That hurt my feelings. It's like, but then we get our men scoring position. I think we stranded over 10 yesterday.
17 runners. We left on base 17 runners. We left the bases loaded 3 times yesterday. 3 times we left the bases loaded.
I knew it was ugly, but hey, it's only one game, right?
It's kind of a trend, if you ask me. But I mean, we're going to win the division. We'll get into the playoffs, and the Blue Jays are they're the best team in the American League. So, well, I can't tell you how we're going to do. We're going to win the division. We'll get in the playoffs, but if we can compete with these other teams, I'm not so sure. We'll have to just wait and see. I'm not that smart, dude.
That's all right. Hey, did you do any? How was your putting?
I have not played. I'm still having feet problem.
I know.
Foot problem,
but,
really.
I mean, what you need to do is just go out and just putt really early morning, or late evening where they have lights and you can putt. Go in and have, a cool drink, whatever's best for your body right now, and get mindful on your golf.
It's not a bad idea,
You're
actually.
playing soon.
Yeah, I should be playing this weekend.
Awesome.
I'm pretty certain.
That's all I want to talk about.
All right, Dave. Thanks, man. Take care.
All right.
We're heading to the final hour of the broadcast. When we come back, we're going to meet the interim president at Bakersfield College. We're going to meet Dr. Stacy Pfluger. In the meantime, and we'll talk more sports at the bottom of the hour. But in the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
He's got this.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump has declared a public safety emergency in Washington, D.C. and is deploying National Guard troops. White House correspondent Craig
Got the new
Clugston
interim president
reports.
coming.
Even as DC's homicide rates are declining, the president claimed that crime is out of control in the nation's capital.
They
and
signed
he's
it.
directing a federal takeover.
Attorney General
I'm on
Pam
till,
Bondi, who's
February.
fantastic, is taking command of the Metropolitan
At a reduced
Police
pay.
Department as of this moment.
I
He
wasn't,
signed an
as I
executive
told
order
Norma.
deploying National Guard
She's like,
troops and
"That's
threatened a military deployment if needed. The president vowed to hold criminals accountable and remove the city's homeless people. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Texas Republicans are once again denied a quorum as the state's Democrats stayed away from the state to avoid a redistricting battle with the GOP. Public policy expert Matthew Continenti is calling out Democrats in the Lone Star State for what he sees as duplicity.
Well, I think it's hypocrisy of the highest order for the Texas Democrats to say that they're protecting democracy by skimping out on a vote, taking a private jet to Illinois, which is one of the most heavily gerrymandered states in the country.
Continenti made his comments to the Salem radio network. A gunman opened fire Monday in a Target store's
Firing the
parking
president.
lot in the Texas capital, killing at least 3 people, then stole 2 cars during a getaway that ended with police using a
Absolutely.
taser to detain him on the other side of the city. Austin Police Chief
Did you hear
Lisa
Dodger
Davis
tickets
says
are
the
going up
suspect is a
30%?
man in his 30s with a mental health history. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 200 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
If you're living with pain, see how Relief Factor can help.
I'm an artist and I'm in my studio. I listen to the radio all day and I'm hearing the ads about Relief Factor. And I've got pain in my neck and it's getting worse. And I'm thinking, well, I'm going to go ahead and order this. 2 weeks later, I've got much better range of motion. If you're experiencing pain at a certain point in life, I would get Relief Factor.
Fight pain naturally with Relief Factor. Go to relieffactor.com and get your 3-week quick start today. Only $19.95.
Everybody is keeping an eye on the Fed and how an interest rate
Mine
cut
don't
might
play.
affect gold
The big
prices.
dogs
Gold
do
has
it
been
for
hovering at around
six or
$3,400 an ounce for the last 2 months and is poised for dramatic growth with the next interest rate cut. If you have a qualified IRA or 401k, you could receive up to $10,000 in free gold and silver when you open your retirement account with Advantage Gold. Call 800-900-8000 now or visit AdvantageGold.com and get your free gold IRA guide. Consult with your financial and tax professionals before making investment decisions. Call 800-900-8000.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk
Some
96.1
use it for Disneyland, some use it for Dodger Stadium.
I'm Bill Robbins. The Rich Bar fire was started a little after 5:30 Saturday
It really
evening.
is.
Has been about 25% contained.
Crazy.
But so far, it has burned over 120 acres and forced the closure of Highway 178. The highway is closed at the mouth of the canyon in Bakersfield through Democrat Springs. The cause of the fire is being investigated. And a Kern County firefighter was badly hurt while working the canyon fire. His pickup truck rolled nearly 200 feet over a ridge and down a steep hill in Castaic. The accident happened a little before 6:30 Friday evening. According to the Kern County Fire Department, Battalion Chief James
Come on
Agee
in.
was involved in the
Cougar.
crash a little south
Ralph
of
Bailey.
Castaic High School.
Nice to meet you.
Agee was airlifted to Henry Mayo Medical Center in Valencia as a trauma alert.
Come
The
on in.
family of a
This is
woman
my
who was
producer,
found
Chris
dead
Blake,
after
right
a
behind
trailer
you.
park fire in Oildale believes she was murdered. The Kern County Sheriff's Office says the fire reported at around 2 o'clock
you're
Friday
fine.
morning was suspicious.
You're fine.
This is the third fire reported at the same mobile home park since May 31st. One of those fires killed a woman and 2 dogs. Kern
So when
County
does the
Sheriff's
semester
Office
start?
homicide investigators have been called in. Anyone with information regarding this investigation is asked to call.
I had to click this to your caller phone. Anyone on like first, second button usually is preferred. And that's just for the YouTube radio. You'll be speaking into the video.
So where are you from?
I'm originally from Central Texas,
Yeah. Dallas area?
Waco area,
Waco?
a little
Okay.
further south.
Near Baylor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do at first, just bio stuff. And then get into your plans for the year and Maybe talk about the Southwest campus,
Mhm.
Arvin expansion, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Grab that headset, and that silver button controls your volume. Final hour of the broadcast on this Monday, 11th day of August. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 at AM 1180 KERN, and we're streaming live at currentradio.com. We still got lots to do in the final hour. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll talk a little sports. We've got a new female amateur champion in the world of golf. We'll talk about Shedeur Sanders' debut. This was much anticipated. It's the first time in my life, literally the first time in my life, I watched for straight on through 3/4 of a preseason game. I'll tell you what I thought and what critics are saying and what the coaches in Cleveland are saying. And if we have time, I'll tell you a little bit about my vacation. It was shockingly pleasant, other than sitting for 2 hours watching Superman get beat up for about 120 minutes. Telling you, Chris, don't do it. Don't do it. But it'll be interesting to talk about it tomorrow, because I got a feeling you're going to come back and say, I don't know what you're talking about. I loved it. Oh, dang. All right, that's fine. That's fine. In the meantime, as I mentioned, we are meeting Dr. Stacy Pfluger. She is the interim president at Bakersfield College. Welcome to the Ralph Bailey Show. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us about Stacy Pfluger. Where'd you grow up? How'd you get into education? How'd you end up in California in Bakersfield?
That's a lot.
We've got till 6 o'clock.
Right?
No, I'm kidding.
So I grew up out in the country, about 50 miles from Waco, Texas. So grew up working the land. We raised cattle and sheep, and mostly goats and sheep, but cattle a few times. We stuck with largely smaller animals because you can manhandle them a little bit more than you can a cow.
Right.
And then raised a small grain and things of that nature, so we didn't have to buy all the feed. So a little bit of ranching and farming background, and went to West Texas to go to college. I majored in biology. Went up to the University of Notre Dame, did a master's in biology, came back to Texas. We needed to be a little bit closer to family for a while. There were just some things happening that we needed to not be halfway across the country. The irony of that is now I'm further away, but that's okay.
Right. I was going to go there.
Different phase of life.
Yeah.
So I worked for a while at a company that made cattle vaccines. And then I taught high school for a year and decided
How was that?
It was interesting. So very small school.
Yeah, because I've always said I'd go to jail. I'd go to jail.
My sister teaches high school and actually now teaches middle school, and so does her husband, and that's wonderful. And we need those individuals.
Yes.
And it's not my not my hat to
wear. Ralph Bailey was found choking a student who told Mr. Bailey to go F off. I couldn't do it. Kids are so different.
It is. It's a different world. And so I went back to graduate school. I actually went to Baylor University for a couple of years.
Near Waco.
In Waco on that one.
Yeah.
And after that, I just started looking for other opportunities, and I found a teaching position at Angelina College in Lufkin, Texas. So I taught biology there for a total of 8 years before moving into administration. While I was there, I decided I needed to go ahead and finish my graduate work. And so I got a doctorate of education from Texas Tech University while I was teaching, thankfully. Because once I got into that first dean role, you realize how much time you had teaching, because it kind of changes when you're on the other side of the fence.
Yeah, I bet.
And from there, I served in that role for several years, and then I became the assistant vice president of academic affairs before I decided it was time to look for other opportunities further afield, because I don't ever want to be the person sitting there waiting for my boss to retire. That's just not who I am.
Right.
And so I found a position at Southeast Arkansas College as the vice president of academic affairs. And I did that for about 8 months, and then I became provost. So I oversaw both academic affairs and student affairs for the remainder of my time there. I was there just over 2 years.
Let me stop you right there. What is the position of provost?
So it depends. Universities use it as somebody who runs more the day-to-day operations versus the president who does more external facing
Big
work.
picture kind of stuff.
Right. At two-year colleges, it's a little bit different. And the provost there kind of still was, in a manner of speaking, the second in command, but it really was just a position that blended both academics and the student support services under one umbrella.
Yeah.
So the only thing that didn't report to me really was the finance side.
Okay. And so how did Bakersfield pop up on your radar?
So while I was at Southeast Arkansas College, there was an opening for president, largely because my president at the time took the chancellor position here at Kern Community College District.
Dr. Stephen Bloomberg.
Correct. And so when Dr. Bloomberg left, I served as interim president for about 4.5 months and was not a finalist for that position, but I had had a great deal of support on campus, and I just came to the place where I felt like I needed to get out of the way because I knew that the campus needed to rally around that new president or it wasn't going to work. And I just wasn't sure that that was going to happen. And whether that was the right decision or not, I started looking for other opportunities. I applied for some other presidencies. I applied for a vice president position in Texas. I applied for this position as, well, not this position. I applied for a position at the Kern Community College District as Vice Chancellor of Educational Services. And so I came here last August. Tomorrow will be my 1-year mark in Bakersfield. So I started here as a Vice Chancellor of Ed Services at the district office. And I did that up until, I guess, June 2nd, when I took on the interim role as president at Bakersfield College.
Were you taken aback that Dr. Bloomberg selected you despite the fact that you had history, which was probably one of the reasons he appointed you? He knows who you are. He knows your work. He knows your history.
I'm sure
But
that's
were you
part
still
of
a
it.
little bit taken aback? Like, really? Or were you
A
like,
little.
yes, sir, it's about time?
Maybe somewhere in between. I don't know if I was really taken aback, but I don't ever expect these things. I didn't really expect to get the vice chancellor position. I guess I just don't operate that way. I tend to expect the worst and be pleasantly surprised instead of the opposite.
Right.
It's just kind of how I look at life.
Yeah. Talking with Dr. Stacy Pfluger. She is the interim president at Bakersfield College. School starts on the 23rd, officially, first day of classes. What's the year going to look like? What are you looking forward to? What are some of the things that the students can look forward to?
We've got a lot of great things going on campus. We've got some new programs coming on board, particularly some short-term certificate programs. We've got some expansion of programs as well. We're trying to get one of our new programs, phlebotomy, also out to Arvin and Delano at the campuses there. So we're just looking at trying to continue to expand opportunities for students throughout the service area. It's a great place to be. I've enjoyed the couple of months that I've been there already. There's a lot of really good things happening and good energy on campus. So I'm looking forward to getting faculty back on campus and then students as well, and really get into that academic life of the semester.
Yeah. And you mentioned Arvin and Lamont, and that is one of the things that I have found that is incredible what BC is doing. That's the expansion. I didn't know until I started doing some work for the Kern Community College District, that there was even a campus over in the Southwest, like literally like a golf shot away from CSUB.
Correct. Right across the street.
Yeah. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, that campus opened relatively recently. It's one of the newer facilities, but it's got a lot of good programming. There's some expansion opportunity there. There's more science labs on the 3rd floor that recently opened. So it's a growing facility as well, but we're really trying to offer the programs at that site that are some of the higher transfers into CSUB, just to make that transition as easy as we can for those students.
Yeah.
Because you're already basically on CSUB campus, so we might as well make the handoff as smooth as possible.
Yeah. And that is not a very smooth transition, I've discovered, going from a 2 to a 4-year college. And that just absolutely blows me away. The low number of kids that get to transfer to a 4-year school. It just doesn't make sense.
So I think there's a lot of factors at play. Some 2-year degrees and therefore some students are on a path that doesn't necessarily lead directly to transfer. Not that you can't, but it's really designed to get you into the workforce.
Right.
But there's still a surprising number that come into a 2-year college saying, I'm going to transfer, that don't end up making that transition.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I'd like to see. And look, I'm not going to see meaningful change in a year on some of this. Some of these are deeper factors and things that you can fix in a year or two. It's really going to take some looking at our processes and seeing where students are falling off, and also acknowledging that the college can do a lot of things, but we can't fix everything, right? We all have our limitations. Every institution is the same way. But I really want to focus this year on student success and also on building community partnerships. Not that we don't have them, but I think we could be a better partner in the community, at least in some areas.
Yeah. What is the state overall, the state of community colleges here in California, in your opinion? Then it's interesting to ask that from someone who's only been here a year, because I think, and again, I learned this from just working closely with KCCD, that some of the things that you all are doing are incredible. I think the program, in fact, I was hearing, we had Romeo Aguilar on, the special counsel to your boss, Dr. Bloomberg, and he had on our friend T. Johnson's daughter, who was part of the, I don't know what you all call it, the early program where they're
early
taking
college.
early college. And she is the poster child of it, where
Correct.
T's daughter is like 18 years old. And I think she's a sophomore in college.
Correct.
I mean, it's incredible, some of the things you guys are doing.
Correct. I heard a gentleman years ago say that community colleges are the great equalizer. And I think there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah.
And certainly the California system is strong. There's a lot of really good momentum around streamlining pathways for students,
Yeah.
building pathways directly into, and sometimes associate degrees for transfer directly into the CSUs or the UCs. There's a lot of framework already in place. I'm not going to say it's perfect, because no transition between different colleges, much less different systems, is. I personally think that as the California community colleges continue to adopt common course numbers, which is relatively new in the state, I think that should help the transfer process. But it's a process in and of itself, because it requires each of the colleges to accept a common course definition and course description, and then implement those curriculum changes at their own local campuses. So it's not a fast process, but I think at the end of that, we should see some better outcomes for students, especially in the area of transfer.
Yeah, because I'm an old man. And in my lifetime, you didn't have to agree. You kind of shook your head, yes, you are an old man.
I feel it today too, so it's fine.
Okay, good.
I'm right there with you.
And I've seen, at least in my life experience, a transition in community colleges. Because when I was a kid, we made fun of guys that had to go to community college. The kids that went to the community colleges were the kids that couldn't get into 4-year schools. And we were like, you're going to Pierce? You're going to West LA? Sir. You know what I'm saying? And now it's a complete transition, because now the 4 years are so expensive that it only makes sense your first 2 years to go to a community college, save yourself a ton of money, and then get your GE out of the way, and then go to a 4-year school and concentrate on your major.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said the kids that had to go to community college, right? Because that's the way a lot of people kind of grew up seeing community college. Is it's the last chance kind of situation. And it really isn't. I don't know that it ever truly has been, but I think we've gotten better about telling our story.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of programs that you can spend a couple of years in school and do very well in a career. And one could argue, why would you want to spend 4, 5, or 6 years doing something else when you can get a faster track into a good paying career? But I think too, financially, you're right. College has gotten life has gotten more expensive. College is certainly a part of that. And it does save a lot of money. And what I've said for years is the degree is the same at the end. Wherever you transfer from, that diploma is still going to look the same hanging on your wall. It doesn't matter where you start. You know, if you're worried about the name on it, it matters where you finish, not where you start.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Stacy Pfluger has been our guest. I'll leave you with this. If you could take a magic wand and create something or do something different for this first year as BC president, what would it be?
I've heard stories about, I'm going to say, the camaraderie that has existed on campus between the faculty, staff, and administrators in the past. And that's something that I'd really like to see come back, where we feel like we're all part of one team instead of so siloed, which happens in any big institution. But sometimes I think we've grown so fast, and then coming out of COVID as well, I think we see ourselves as individual pockets instead of part of a bigger whole. And I'd really like to see that camaraderie.
Yeah.
strengthen.
Well, you're part of a huge transition that's going on up there
sure.
with the athletic department and all kind of different things. And I think it's absolutely positive. Thank you so much for coming in. And anytime you've got something going on and you want to come on and talk about it, feel free to contact us, and we'd love to have you.
I will do that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Stacy Pfluger, interim president at Bakersfield College. Take a short time out. We'll come back, check the board, see what you all are talking about. We'll talk some sports before we get out of here. Tomorrow's a Tuesday. Our judge, Teresa Goldner, who filled in for me last week, joins us. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERM, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com. Outstanding. That was really good.
Thank you.
That was really good.
I
Thank
hope
you
so.
so much.
At least you're not running me out of the studio, so that's something.
Thanks so much for coming in. Really nice meeting you. I'm sure we'll talk a lot.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm doing some stuff. They brought me on to try to, they wanted me to first create a radio station for them. And when I told them it'd be about $250,000 and you got to get an attorney and a license, they were like, okay, let's not do that. And I said, let's do a podcast.
Yeah.
I got them equipment real cheap. So that's going to get up on its feet. And they're going to have me doing some other things. I understand, maybe doing some more marketing things. But
Awesome.
yeah,
Well,
they've
we
hired
can
me
use
as
some
an
of that.
independent
I think
contractor.
we've also, in the last few years, stopped telling our story as well as we used to.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's
And
part
we
of
need
what
to.
they want me. Yeah.
We need
Exactly.
to be better about that and more intentional about it.
Yeah.
So,
Again,
it's great to see
really
you.
nice meeting
Yeah.
you. Thanks so much.
I don't think we've actually met. Well, kind of.
Ralph Bailey.
Dawson.
Dawson?
Yes, sir.
All right. Nice meeting you, Dawson. He is? What happened to Daisy? What happened to my girl Daisy?
Daisy just can't do it full time.
She can? Why not?
She wants to go. She don't want to do ours.
Oh, she wants to be a DJ with her voice?
Yeah.
She's too.
Look at me.
I don't think she'd be a good producer either. Because I bet she doesn't know who the vice president of the United States is. She's what?
Spend the rest of your money because you're in charge. Today you're gonna pay down your credit card bill.
Is she smart?
You decide when you'll pay it. Before the due date,
Is she
so
like
those
new
interest charges
smart
don't
though?
get you. But you decide if you pay it in full.
She's got a
Which
high
you definitely
IQ,
should, because
but I don't
again, interest charges. With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, we'll help you find coverage at a fair price. Then you're in charge. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. I mean, mop drop. Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop. A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
I was always tired, sleepy, and had no energy.
I had relentless, debilitating headaches.
Valley fever has many faces and impacts people differently. If you have a lingering cough, fever, or painful breathing for more than 2 weeks, talk to your doctor.
I am
Fawn Purdy.
I am Bryn
She's no friend. She's a
Harrigan.
waitress
And
at
we are the
Pyrenees.
faces of
of
Valley
Do you go
Fever.
to Pyrenees at all?
Visit
She's the tall, skinny
currentpublichealth.com
one.
to learn more.
Mark
She's
your
real
calendars
thin.
for Saturday, October 11th,
Kind of
the 6th
attractive.
annual Bakersfield Brunch Fest at the Kern
She's
County
got- I knew when
Fairgrounds.
she was
Your
young,
all-inclusive
she was really
ticket gives you access
She's
to an
now probably
assortment
in
of
her
brunch
50s.
bites, paired with bubbles and
Is he?
mimosas, beer, wine, cocktails, and
I'll
spiked
ask him if she is.
seltzers. Bakersfield Brunch Fest is brought to
'Cause
you
I
by
just gave
Mango
her the,
Cards. There are a
that
limited
number
number
you
of
gave me.
early bird tickets at a major discount that will be on sale this Wednesday. Go to BakersfieldBrunchFest.com now. Secure your
And
spot
I
or
and I
brunch
didn't feel like
experience
I had
you'll
to do
never
her much of a
forget.
favor. I mean, I
Bakersfield,
gave you the
can
number.
brunch with us.
The
And
Armstrong
if
and
you don't,
Getty Show.
if you don't know
Weekdays
how
noon
to,
to 2
you
on
want a
News
job, you don't
Talk
know how to get a hold of the guy.
96.1
That's on
and
you.
AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
I went to bed and I was watching this thing. It was on 70s music, and it had the Commodores and the Ohio Players. It was like a documentary. And I had a dream that because one of the first concerts I ever went to at the Forum was Earth, Wind, Fire. And I, how can I put this delicately? Smoked way too much weed. Smoked way too much weed for my age at that time. And I forget who the opening act was. They were like this one-hit wonders. You'd know them if I could remember their name, but I can't. So I got through that, but I was like, and they come out, and we had really good tickets. We were like way up front. And all of a sudden, there are four flames, like literally. And again, I was inebriated, so take it with a grain of salt, but I thought it was like 25 feet high. These four flames just shoot up. And I'm like, what? I'm on fire. Call the fire department. What's going on? Chris, what's going on, man? Ralph, it's Earth, Wind, and Fire. Yeah, but they don't have to have the fire, right? Yeah, man, I'm high. Call the fire department. And then the wind came blowing in and took down the fire, and then they come running out, and I'm like, it took me like 3 or 4 songs until I was like, okay, I'm all right. And I know these lyrics. This is kind of cool. I'm with it. But I have no idea why I shared that with you. 842-537-6842-KRN. Anything left on the board?
Yes, I got a couple here.
What do you got?
Ralph, have you tried indomethacin to get the breakout to reduce the inflammation? Brand name is Indocin.
No, I've tried colchicine, and I overdosed on that, and now my primary won't even let me use the colchicine because it impacts your kidney.
Ooh.
Yeah, but
you don't want kidney stones,
or you don't have any problems with your kidneys. Shoot, no. Although you can live with one kidney.
Yes, you can.
But I'll take a pass on that. Got to keep your kidney and your liver functioning. You absolutely do. But no, I'm just gonna bear it out. I can finally walk. I still have a slight limp. But like tonight, I think I'm gonna walk up to Casey's Steakhouse. I think tonight I'm doing that because my card got I had another fraud card. I got to change my card again. I just changed it 6 months ago.
I was gonna say you get it more than anybody.
I know. I've gotten fraud on my card like 4 times. I've had 4 different debit cards in about 6 years.
Do they say where it pops up from?
Yes, it was a company in Illinois that tried to charge me $247. And they send you that fraud alert.
Yeah.
and you have to say, "Do you recognize this?" And once you say no, the card is now dead.
Yeah, well, they lock it. You can unlock it as well through the app.
No, now I can't. Now I can't. I just called because I stopped at the mobile to get some water, and it denied my card. In fact, you might be driving me home tonight if it doesn't do my Uber, but I think it will. Quick time out, last half hour. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. President Trump says he's taking over Washington's police department and activating 800 members of the National Guard in the hopes of reducing crime. The president, flanked by his attorney general, his defense secretary, and the FBI director, said Monday he was declaring a public safety emergency and his administration would be removing homeless encampments. An explosion at the U.S. steel plant that shook the ground near Pittsburgh left one dead and sent at least 10 to the hospital, with emergency workers still searching the badly charred rubble hours later for a missing worker. An Allegheny County spokesperson said an explosion followed by several smaller blasts happened Monday morning at the Clairton Coke Works. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Bill Robbins. The Rich Bar fire, which started a little after 5:30 Saturday evening, has been about 25% contained, but so far it has burned over 120 acres and forced the closure of Highway 178. The highway is closed at the mouth of the canyon in Bakersfield through Democrat Springs. The cause of the fire is being investigated. And a Kern County firefighter was badly hurt while working the canyon fire. His pickup truck rolled nearly 200 feet over a ridge and down a steep hill in Castaic. The accident happened a little before 6:30 Friday evening. According to the Kern County Fire Department, Battalion Chief James Agee was airlifted to Henry Mayo Medical Center in Valencia as a trauma alert. I'm Bill Robbins in the KERN Newsroom with news every half hour or when it breaks on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With America's service, do it natural stone. With America's service, do it natural stone.
Looking for flooring? It's on sale at America Ceramics. Looking for kitchen countertops? It's on sale at America Ceramics. How about shower tile? Yep, that's on sale too at America Ceramics. At America Ceramics, everything you need to transform your space is marked down for the summer. From sleek stone surfaces to bold backsplash tiles, they have it, and it's all on sale. Bring your big ideas to America Ceramics at 4000 Fruitvale Avenue, or visit americaceramics.com to get started. But don't wait. Styles and savings are going fast, and this summer sale won't last forever. America Ceramics at 4000 Fruitvale Avenue, or visit americaceramics.com to get started.
With America's Ceramics, do it in natural stone.
It's the JR Show.
Don't miss the Tuesday edition of the JR Show. Is the city going to buy the Crystal Palace? I hear there might be another buyer out there. I'll tell you who. Plus, getting ready for the city council meeting this week. We'll discuss charter change for city council raises, $300,000 to Dolores Huerta Foundation, and renaming South H to Cesar Chavez Boulevard. And a special in-studio guest. It's the JR Show, now streaming live on YouTube.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
One of the few Johnny Cash songs that I don't like. You can take this out of the rotation. He sounds old too. This
This
must
is
have
one of
been,
the older versions. I
yeah,
think. It's like with Hurt and all that other stuff.
yeah.
Love that song.
So, as I said earlier, for the first time in my long life, I watched 3/4 of a preseason game. I may have done that when I was a kid, you know, when you were like 10, 11, 12, just starting to get into football. But I've never done that before. And I did that and watched the Cleveland Indians play. Cleveland Indians. I didn't even say the Guardians. I know. I didn't even get that right, even if I was talking about the Cleveland baseball. The Cleveland Browns play. Who'd they play?
They played the Panthers this weekend.
Okay. And I was impressed. I was absolutely impressed. For a kid that never played with the ones, in other words, the first stringers, the starters, the stars, doesn't get any reps because he's supposedly a 5th-round draft pick, and I've got more on that, according to Snacks, and a guy who they consider beneath on the chart list, Dylan Gabriel, who is, let me be politically correct, a hack. I mean, all the video I've seen of this kid, he's only good on 7-on-7s. He's great at 7-on-7s, and there was even some video of him overthrowing guys in 7-on-7s. But to say that he's on the same stratosphere as Shedeur Sanders is insane. Now, Snacks came in here, one of our DJs down the hall, and said, I finally figured out why everybody passed on Shedeur. Have you heard this?
I figured this out, but what did he say?
He said it's because of what they created, what is called the prime equity clause, that according to Snacks, I'm attributing this in case it's not true, but Snacks says in his contract, he gets a percentage of everything. He gets a percentage of his jersey sales. He gets a percentage of whatever is connected to him. Even if it's connected to the franchise, he gets a piece of it. And his jersey is one of the best sellers, if not the number one seller in NFL right now. So he's making millions of dollars because, again, as a rookie, you've got 4 years where you're making bupkis. That's why so many guys are staying. That's why I think everybody thinks Arch Manning is coming out after this successful season he's about to have. I don't think so. If you look at the Mannings, both of his uncles did a 4-year run at Tennessee and Mississippi State. And again, you could make more NIL money by far than you could on a rookie contract. So why not stay in Austin if you're Arch Manning, a great city, a great campus, a great college, and make millions upon millions on NIL money, as opposed to the $400,000 you get as part of the rookie contract? It only makes sense. But I thought Shedeur looked great. He made a couple of mistakes. He made a couple of bad passes. In fact, he made 2 passes that could have been picked. He had a wide open pass that he just tried to put a little touch on and overthrew it. But I thought the 2 touchdown passes were outstanding. I thought his pocket presence was incredible. He was faster than did you see the game?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Do you agree with anything I'm saying? I thought he was faster than I saw him in Colorado because, he ran for his life in Boulder.
Right.
He ran for his life. He had a horrible line. He had no running game. He had no pass protection. And yet he still completed 70% of his passes. He's incredibly accurate, as you saw on the 2 touchdown passes. And he's got pocket awareness. So, I mean, that touchdown pass over the middle, you don't know how brilliant his actions were. Because what happened was they were blitzing from the left side, and the fullback had to come across and pick up the linebacker. And he's got to trust, because it's like baseball. The 2 smartest people on the field are the pitcher and the catcher because they're involved in every play. The smartest people on a football field are the center and the quarterback because they're involved in every play. And they have to know literally what everybody is doing. The quarterback has to know what everybody on the field is doing. And he had to trust that the fullback was going to come across and pick up the linebacker, which he did. And instead of panicking and doing what I think a rookie Lamar Jackson would have done and just run for the hills, he just kind of stepped to the side after they picked up the blitz, planted his back foot, and threw a BB right down the middle, touchdown. And then the second touchdown, or maybe the first, was a my goal line play, which I think is absolutely unstoppable. And why everybody doesn't do this, it should be the tush push of the goal line, where you run two running backs, you play fake to the right, you have the quarterback then roll left and either hit the back coming out short or the tight end back. That's you can't defend that. You can't, because half the team is going to go with the play fake right, and then when he comes outside, even if they cover the tight end and the running back, then what do? You just run. You just run, because everybody's going this side. They played that. He got outside, and the most important thing about this is why they don't like right-handed quarterbacks rolling to their left, is if you throw open with your shoulders open, you ain't got nothing on it, and it's accurate as hell. But if you go back and watch this, or watch anytime you see a quarterback right-handed roll left, he was able to spin his shoulders around, get set, and threw a perfect pass for a touchdown in the corner of the end zone. I thought he was brilliant. He ran for a couple of first downs when he had to, and he basically made every NFL executive look stupid or racist or just guys that are bitter about his father. It's one of those three, unless you've confirmed this prime equity clause in his contract.
Oh no, it's a thing. I looked it up right now.
What percentage does he get?
That does not say, but it does say that he has.
Read what it says.
Direct percentage of all revenue generated from merchandise, sponsorships, NIL stuff, essentially. So anything that has his name on it, it makes him essentially a partner rather than a player.
That makes sense. Because as you quoted Dad just a couple of minutes ago, you can answer 9 questions out of 10 with the word money. So maybe it's not racism. Maybe it wasn't Dion. Maybe it wasn't the fact that they thought he wasn't talented. Maybe it was just simply, I'm not going to become a partner with this rookie. I'm not going to give him part of our franchise money. Who does he think he is? I think it's stupid. Give him a cut of that, because I think this kid is on his way to being a superstar in the NFL. I really do. I loved what he said after the ball game. In fact, did I send you that audio? Do you have it? Let's here is Shedeur Sanders.
What would you grade your performance today?
I would say a C plus.
C plus. Why?
Yeah. It's passing. It's passing because we got the win. You know, that's first and foremost, and that's extremely important. But you know, Pop said, you know, take advantage of the opportunity, and I don't feel like I did. So, you know, I feel like I let him down a little bit. But on the team behalf, I feel like I ran the offense pretty well. I feel like I got to my decisions, and in some things I could have done better, and different process where I could speed my feet up. So, you know, I'm just thankful for the opportunity. I'm happy, you know, we won, but it's definitely still time to go to work.
I love this kid. I absolutely love this kid.
He sounds just like his dad, too.
He does.
You see Shiloh had a good game, too?
Yeah, I did. And he said the same thing, that his dad was, they asked him how his dad would think. And he was like, it was funny what he said. He was like, dude, my dad's a Hall of Famer.
He's like, I can't be my dad.
He's like, I would have to have like 3 picks a night to have my dad be happy.
Yeah, but see, could you imagine Shiloh working his way to the starting spot and have him on one side and Antoine Whitfield's son on the other?
This kid is they're very talented. What's the other? Who else had a big weekend? Oh, Travis
Hunter.
Oh, we're gonna play the name game. Yeah, Travis Hunter had a big weekend. He played extremely well. I think for the first time I saw him play, and I thought, based on being a Boulder, he was a better wide receiver than cornerback. And I saw him play this weekend. And I was like, damn, he's a badass D-back.
Oh, he's a
I
natural
mean, he
corner.
looks like a D-back. He reacts like a D-back. He tackles.
And they plan to use him more on offense than they do on defense this year.
Well, go figure. Go figure. What do we know?
It's the offensive coach. It's the offensive-minded coach. That's all it is. Because Cohen can't coach a defense. I'm honestly expecting him probably to run this team into the ground.
I don't think that he can do both.
I don't think he can.
I think you can do either small sets for him on defense as a dime guy, or just special features on the offensive side. But you can't have him playing, 40, 50 snaps in a game. You just can't. I don't think so, but we'll see. But I like the fact what would you have given him? I would have given him a solid B. I thought it was above average.
Minus is a fair grade.
Yeah.
Again, 14 for 23, 140 yards. Not crazy good, but at least a solid start for a rookie.
And I like to hear that he was talking about his footwork. He's talking about fundamentals. He threw a couple of passes too, I thought, that could have been picked. And that lob pass, he just didn't have a touch. And they were talking about it on Facebook, and I got lured in once again. People were just trashing him and boop, boop, boop. And I said, come on, give this kid a break.
You know what I'm hearing?
I said he made rookie mistakes primarily because he's a rookie.
Yeah.
And rookies make rookie mistakes. And that's how they learn. That's how they get better. But in terms of throwing the football, in terms of accuracy, hell, he's ahead of who's in Chicago? Caleb Williams. Did you see the video on Caleb Williams? They have a net that pros throw into where it's a huge net and it has 3 holes in the net, 3 orange squares that the quarterbacks throw into. And generally they can throw it into, they're on different levels. One's low, one's medium, and one's high. And generally you give any NFL quarterback, the third string quarterback can hit that thing at least 3 out of 5 times. Caleb Williams had 4 throws. He never got it into one of the holes, and he missed the net twice.
And then he cried about it afterwards.
He missed the net. That's like me throwing a baseball to that wall and somehow missing the wall. He missed the net. Dude, I have watched that drill hundreds of times at BC, at Garces, at high school. I have never seen a quarterback miss the net. Like, they don't hit the hole every time, but he missed the net. That's like a hockey player with no goalie and just standing there taking a shot and he misses the net. That doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. It's like an air ball on a free throw. It just doesn't happen. This is the WNBA, which is just, the ratings are in the toilet. The ratings are in the toilet.
Yeah, because Caitlin's still hurt.
Caitlin's still hurt. And I was so excited. I had nothing to do. And the Fever were playing somebody. And I was like, and Caitlin's not playing tonight. Oh, well, there we go. Let's watch some golf. I'm not watching without her.
Now everybody's watching to see if another sex toy gets thrown onto the court.
Is that what that was?
Yeah.
Did Kelly Plum kicked off the deal?
Yep.
It was a dildo.
Yep. It's happened 3 times now. And now a crypto company is stepping up saying that they're the ones organizing it. And it's all this whole it's a really weird thing.
I don't mean to go off on a tangent, but that has always been my mystery of lesbianism. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you're a lesbian and you prefer women. I get it. Then why the tools? Why the strap-on? Why the dildos? We're an adult show. We can talk about this. Why? And I know there are lesbians listening. Explain, please. What, you just don't want the stinky, funky, hairy man, but you still want I won't go that far, but you still want it, the penetration. I just don't get it. That has confounded me since I've been a teenager. Like, we got the real deal. We got the real deal. I'm serious. Just saying. It's always confounding. All right, let's take our final break of the day. Tomorrow's a Tuesday. Only thing booked so far is one of our favorite people who I heard hit a home run as our host, our judge, Teresa Goldner, tomorrow. And later on in the week, Jay Tamsey is going to be on the program. I think probably on Wednesday. I had dinner with my neighbor. Ran into him at Mexicali. We sat and had dinner. And he gave me a ride home since we live so close. That was a fun night. I had the whole bar mad at me.
Why?
They were watching the 49er preseason game. And I said, Tino, the Dodger game just started. This is a preseason game. Preseason. It doesn't matter. And not anybody, and I saw all the 49er gear along the bar, but I said, none of these people could identify anybody on that football field. Every one of these kids that are playing right now were in college last year. Are you kidding me? You think Kittle is playing in the preseason game? You think McCaffrey's out there? They couldn't name 2 players on the field. Will you change the channel? And he changed the channel. And Jay was like, dude, I came here to watch the 49er game. I was like, sorry, Jay. Thank God they got destroyed. I was like, see, I kept showing him updates. Look, you're getting killed. You'd rather watch the Dodgers? What's the matter with y'all? Final break of the night. Keep it locked. Charlie Kirk at the top of the hour. In the meantime, you're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show on Newstalk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we stream live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Coming up on the Tuesday edition of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, the latest on Trump's effort to turn around crime in Washington, D.C. A huge move that has the libs losing their mind, which means it will be a brilliant masterstroke of policy. We'll discuss that, plus the big summit with Putin in Alaska looms. How is it looking for Trump to end?
You want to do your promo real quick? And then we do not need to cut Sangera today if you do not want to. We would have to cut it tomorrow, though.
We can do it tonight.
Okay. Don't throw it out either because I need a disclaimer.
No, this isn't new. This is the same thing about the Solterra. All right, let's do this first. You ready? 3, 2. I'm sorry, but I thought the funniest event of the weekend was Jen Powell, the new female umpire, who, let's just say, got off to a rough start. She missed 14 calls in all. And when they put her behind the plate, literally the very first pitch, she missed by half a foot. It wasn't even close. 3, 2. It's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Tuesday TRBS. Well, it's a Tuesday. So our former federal magistrate judge, Teresa Goldner, will join us. Plus, we'll have more on Donald Trump putting National Guardsmen in our nation's capital, all that. And me at 3. It's TRBS, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. I'll see you at 3. Turn me back on.
Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for. So don't wait. For this free information, call 800-422-8552. 800-422-8552. That's 800-422-8552. Not available in all states. Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Didn't do Tommy's on this LA trip, but I did do Fat Burger. And we had a Fat Burger for a hot second. It was owned by a really successful black couple that own, I can't remember whether it's just Wing It or Wingstop, but they own one of those. And they tried to open up a Fat Burger on the Northeast, and it just didn't work out. And to be honest, it wasn't even close. The Fat Burger wasn't even close. It's weird how franchises are like that. But in LA, the Fat Burger is so good. But didn't do Tommy's. I was a little disappointed about that. 842, just got a couple of minutes before we get out of here. What do you got on the board?
Ralph, it could be the Ramco that causes your fraud. They've had issues with skimmers. I stopped going there and my fraud stopped.
No, this was out of state. They tell you who, you have to recognize, they have to ask you, because what if it's you?
It's got to be an online thing. Like someone hacks something you purchased or something like that
Yeah.
to get your information.
I don't know how they do that. I really don't.
I don't either.
But second time it's happened to me in about 6, 7, 8 months. It's just a pain in the ass. You have to change everything on Uber. You have to change everything on what else do I use? Uber Eats, Uber driving, just charging things, all my bills, my cable. By the way, did I tell you I got my cable bill down? But I lost Turner Classic Movies. And then you know what I did? I was almost going to call and complain. And then I said, I probably get 1 or 2 good movies on Turner Classic Movies a week. And I just kind of scroll through literally like days. And I was like, okay, if I find a good movie, I said I'm going to search for like 2 or 3 days. And if I find a good movie that I want to see, I'm going to call in and say, hey, can I have this back? And I went through it for about 2 or 3 or 4 days. And I was like, no. So I'm living without it. But really happy about that. Really, really happy about that. One more. And let's get out of here.
The Buffalo Bills had an issue with that as well with Bills Mafia. They threw female toys on the field. I do remember this. It was against Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I cannot wait. Tomorrow night, not only do I get Love and Hip Hop, but I get Hard Knocks. Did you see the first one?
Isn't this the first one?
No. There's one. You go to HBO. There's one on right now.
Oh, cool.
Started last week.
I have not seen it.
Started last week. Well, I hate to ruin it for you, but their star rookie cornerback blew out his knee on the first practice.
Oh, yeah, no, I saw that.
First practice, blew out his knee. And that's why I love Hard Knocks, because they built this kid up throughout the whole first half hour of the episode. That this guy's going to be a star, and boop, 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 boop. And the second day, I think it was the second day of practice, the first day of pads, he blows out his knee. And it's not season ending, thank goodness, but he's going to miss the entire preseason. And, what he's like for the rest of the season, who knows? But it's pretty cool. And on Friday, I had the return of...
Yeah, we do it again.
That's right.
I can't do that.
Come on, come on. Love After Lockup, take 2. And Friday, I was welcomed when I came back home to
Love After Lockup.
You got to get way deeper than that.
I know I can't
gotta
get it.
get
You know
way
I can't get that deep.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I got Randy hooked. I got Dizzle hooked. I got Rand Dizzle and his wife hooked on Love After Lockup. I'm telling
Everybody's
you.
got their own version of trash TV,
I'm
man.
telling you. Go Friday. Again, I want to thank Kathy Abernathy, Teresa Goldner, Cassie Biddle, Romeo Agbalog, and Rick Bentley for filling in for me last week. Good to be back. Thank you all for hanging with us. Hope you'll be with us tomorrow. And for Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. I will rap to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
Let's try to do this.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Republican strategist Darren McGuire says Democrats are trying to find their footing but face one.
You ready? You got to be quiet, Pop. 3, 2. It's that man again, Ralph Bailey for Sangera Subaru. It's that time again for the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Now, through September 2nd, get incredible offers on 2025 Subarus. And if you've been thinking about an EV, the 2024 Solterra is a great choice. First, well, it's a Subaru. Same quality, safety, and technology you expect from a Subaru. Plus, it's the only EV that comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive. And now, through September 2nd, lease a 2025 Solterra for just $259 a month for 36 months and zero due at signing. That's right, absolutely nothing at signing. It's an incredible offer on Subaru EV, and you have never... Let's just cut out that graph, and I'll just start. So don't miss the Subaru A Lot to Love event going on now at Sangera Subaru, 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Auto Mall. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community. How was that time-wise without that paragraph?
Honestly, it'll work because I still have to put the disclaimer in there too.
All right, cool. Oh, Lord have mercy. So I don't understand this. They've canceled my card. I can't use the card, but it still works for Uber. Thank God. And I don't get my new card till like Friday.
But you've established that you're getting a new card? Or...
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably why then, because it's still, they...
But I got declined at the mobile station.